St. Luke's Orthopedic Care. Extraordinary care in motion.
Concussions are serious. 3 million sport, recreation, and auto accident-related concussions happen each year. 20% of high school athletes who play contact sports will suffer a concussion during the season. St. Luke's is the region's leader in assessing, managing, and treating concussions in athletes and non-athletes of all ages. Our multi-specialty teams of experts collaborate to care for you using the latest treatment options. Don't play head games, take concussion seriously. Call St. Luke's to schedule an appointment with one of our concussion experts. Are you searching for a place where you belong? Where your fitness matters? Regardless of what shape you're in, St. Luke's Fitness and Sports Performance Centers have a professional team that will help you meet or exceed your fitness goals. With locations throughout the region and nationally recognized fitness experts, you'll become a member of a supportive fitness community. We call it Extraordinary Fitness. Visit us online to start your free 7-day membership and let us help you thrive.
Hall of Fame pitcher Steve Carlton knows what it takes to exceed expectations. He knows what it means to be part of a team that rises above the competition. He knows a champion. Steve Carlton knows St. Luke's Orthopedic Care.
So you're hurting. Is it your back or your knee? That old football injury? Get the rehabilitation you need. In most cases, you won't need a script from your doctor. In Pennsylvania and New Jersey, a law called Direct Access lets you see a physical therapist without a prescription. And if your insurance requires a prescription, physical therapy at St. Luke's will work with your doctor to get you the care you need that is covered. Let us speed up your recovery. We're in your neighborhood. Call Physical Therapy at St. Luke's.
St. Luke's Orthopedic Care. Extraordinary care in motion.
Hi, and welcome, everyone. Al Carlo alongside Matt Evancho. Glad you could join us here from J. Bernie Crum Stadium in Allentown. Our D11Sports.com Game of the Week presented by St. Luke's Sports Medicine. We have a good one in the North Division of the EPC. A great battle between the Stroudsburg Mountaineers with a record of 3-1 and 3-2 overall, taking on the Allen Canaries. They check in with a record of 2-2 and 2-3 overall. And Matt, as you look at this matchup, an intriguing matchup for both teams because they're in a position at the bottom half of those district playoffs. Get a win tonight, and you just move yourself a little further up.
It does, and talking to both coaches, they understand the importance of this game in terms of the district playoffs. And Allen needs to get back on track. They started off hot. They had that slip up against Pocono Mountain West a couple weeks ago. They're starting to get their players back. They're starting to get healthy. George Clay needs a big win today for his team, but Stroudsburg, likewise, they're hit with the injury bug a little bit. They're a little bit down on players with starters out. They need to come in and play a complete game as a complete team to get the win.
Well, Jim Miller in his 7th year as the head coach with the overall record of 53-19. They beat Pocono Mountain East by a score of 21-7. As Matt said, they've won 3 out of 4. Brandon Burrell, one of the guys they got coming back.
And Coach was ecstatic. Coach Miller was ecstatic to get Burrell back. He was injured last year, missed a lot of the season, got going in track season, he said, in the spring, did a lot of rehab to get himself prepared for this, and finally back, ready to go, and he showed that last week for them.
Well, for the Allen Canaries, they have lost 2 in a row after a solid start for them. George Clay in his 9th year as the head coach, coming off a loss against East Stroudsburg South, 48-14. Giovanni Hall, one of his running backs, a senior running back, and he has to play well today for them to pull out a victory.
And he does. Giovanni Hall has a great season, over 6 touchdowns right now, over 500 yards rushing. But what he's going to benefit from is getting his backfield mate back in Ravenel. Having the 2 of them back for the first time since week 1 is going to be huge for Allen, and it's going to allow Hall to find a little bit more space to run in, allow him to be a little more successful.
This will be an interesting one here for D11Sports.com because we'll have a double dip today. Later tonight, we'll have Central Catholic and Easton. So if you can't make it out here at J. Bernie Crum Stadium, we have you covered here on D11Sports.com. Again, our game presented by St. Luke's Sports Medicine, a great matchup between these 2 teams. And, talking to both coaches, and I think you mentioned it before, both coaches definitely mentioned it, they match up well, but they don't match up well. So that's a good thing when it comes to the games.
It does. I was talking to Coach Clay and asking him about the size of Stroudsburg. Well, you can't dismiss the size of William Allen and what they have. But I was also asking about the size of the secondary. Allen comes in with a little bit shorter secondary. Stroudsburg comes in with some taller receivers. That's going to be a place to see how that plays out. On the other side, with Allen's offense, they have some experience back, a lot of seniors, a lot of juniors, and then Stroudsburg has a lot of holes to fill in from injuries in the secondary for them. So defensively, Stroudsburg's going to have to rely on some youth, and they're going to have to make sure they control that back half of the defense and not let Allen get escape and get some big plays on them.
Weather-wise, when you look at the weather and you talk about it, it's breezy where we are, but down the field doesn't seem breezy. Will the weather have any factor in this game right now?
I don't think it will. I think both teams, week 6 coming in, they know they're prepared. They know they're physically ready to go. I think you're going to see very little bit of the weather come into play tonight.
Now, again, a picture-perfect afternoon, a light breeze here atop of J. Bernie Crum Stadium down at Andre Reed Field. Al Carlo alongside Matt Evancho. Excited to have 2 Allen students with us as student reporters, and Peter Capote and Melissa Fatzinger. They'll be joining us shortly for the broadcast as well. But right now we go down to the field and get ready for the playing of our national anthem here at J. Bernie Crum Stadium. Again, the first of 2 games to be played. We'll have Central and Easton. That game was moved to a 7:30 start, and then next week we'll be back at Pocono Mountain West for Deer and Pocono Mountain West for the 2 teams. So still a little ways to go here, and as we're really at the halfway point going to the second half of the season. So a great opportunity for us to see some different teams here in the back end of the schedule.
It is. And seeing some of these teams, and they're all vying for playoff spots at different spots. That's what, it's great to have them on. Everybody can see that.
All right, let's pause and honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
Navy Junior ROTC Gold Team. Commanding the color guard and carrying our national flag, Cadet Chief Petty Officer Dalis Maria Trochet. The school's unit flag carried by Seaman Apprentice Leonardo Malpica. The 2 rifle guards are Cadet Petty Officer 3rd Class Obril Lichmore and Cadet Lieutenant Junior grade, Brandon Malpica. During the playing of our national anthem, please remove your hat, place your hand over your heart, remain standing until the color guard has stepped off the field.
Everyone, my name is Melissa Fatzinger, and I had the pleasure of speaking with Coach George Clay from William Allen High School. All eyes are on the two running backs, Ezekiel Rabinold and Giovanni Hall, as this is the first time they have both been playing together since the first game. If William Allen wins this game against Stroudsburg High School today, that'll bring their record from 2-3 to 3-3, putting them in a better position to possibly go to districts. Peter, you want to go?
Hi, I'm Peter Capote. I'm covering for Stroudsburg today for their game. They're having multiple changes on the offensive side and defensive side of the ball. A new quarterback is in, and they will be having a 2 running back system. They're off a win against Pocono Mountain East. If they win today, they will go to 4-2 and possibly put them in the prime position for a district playoff spot. Back to you.
All right, guys, thanks a lot. Peter Capote down the field, Melissa Fatzinger down the field, and we're up on the field, and, a great job. Again, we love getting the students involved, and that's the biggest part of our program is getting the students involved. And, Matt, you can attest to that, and we've talked about this so many times. The knowledge and, we went down the field, we talked to the coaches, and I can't remember yesterday or 2 hours ago. Who are you, by the way? But they're like sponges. They remember everything that these coaches say, and, I think that speaks highly of not only, Peter and Melissa, but a lot of the student reporters that we have for D11sports.com.
You're correct. And in all the weeks we've been doing this so far this season, I don't remember seeing one of the student reporters write anything down. Like
That's
you
what
said,
I'm saying. It's amazing.
They're not writing. They no iPads. They're not putting it on their phone. They take it all in and they remember it and they rehearse it and they know exactly what they're going to say, and they do it professionally too. Yep,
they're doing a great job. Again, great matchup today. As we mentioned, Stroudsburg at 3-1, 3-2 overall. The Allen Canaries at 2-2 and 2-3 overall. As you get ready for the opening kickoff here from J. Bernie Crum Stadium in Allentown, and as both teams make their way to the field. We talk about size, and you mentioned it before when we talked about size. And, one thing that we did mention is the two players, one of them is Ivan Nieves Harris at 6'3", 398. That's size, and he can play.
He can. And I remember seeing him play as a freshman and seeing him as a sophomore as well the last 2 years, and Coach Clay could not speak more about how he's grown as a player and grown into his body, and just he moves well. They like to move him. They like to pull him. He's not just going to be in there to drive block. They count on him to pass protect. They count on him to pull on the outside, get on the shorter and smaller defensive backs, and he has the athletic ability and talent to do that.
Stroudsburg has won the toss. They have elected to receive. The Canaries will kick off and defend the east goal.
So it'll be interesting, Al, as Peter mentioned in the warm-up there, with Stroudsburg having a few different options, a few new people on offense, they elect to take the ball right away, and it seems like Coach Miller wants to get his offense and get his new quarterback out there on the field and Brady Boback and allow him to get into a groove and get into a workable situations early on and gain a lot of confidence.
Well, let's take a look at the keys to the game. And obviously, when we talk about both coaches and they bring their team in here ready to go, Matt, those keys of the game are obviously important for them throughout the afternoon without question.
They are, and a lot of coaches, you feel like it gets redundant over this year. They always talk about not making mistakes. And I think that's one thing a coach always wants to talk about, and I think we can count on that throughout the years that no coach wants their players to make mistakes. But, for Stroudsburg, it's about their offense and how they can execute and limit the turnovers that have plagued them at different points in the season. For defensively, for Stroudsburg, they need to play physical and they need to wrap up the two running backs. Melissa talked about the fact that Allen has Giovanni Hall and Zeke Rabinold both back for the first time together this season. That's going to be a tough task for the Stroudsburg defense, especially with a lot of new players in the secondary. Allen, if you say that again, Allen offensively, they need to run the ball. Coach Clay said his quarterback can make the plays if necessary, but they don't want to put it on his shoulders like they have in the last few weeks. They want that running attack to grind yards, grind the clock, get them down the field. And then defensively, George Clay said we need to limit big plays. Stroudsburg has the ability. They have the playmakers where they can take it from any point in the field. They need to wrap them up and limit those big plays to them.
Well, Eric Rodriguez on the return, and he gets smothered on the play. And with that, we'll bring in the starting lineup for the Stroudsburg Mountaineers. And again, we mentioned this. They made a change at quarterback this week, and they bring in Brady Boback as your starting quarterback. So, talking to Coach, doesn't think he'll make that much of a difference, him in the mix.
It won't. He said the one big difference is the fact that he might not gain as many yards on run plays as they expected in the past. I think the other one to look at is the loss of Amir Bryant right now, their number one receiver with 13 catches on the season coming in. He's out with an injury right now as well, so they need to replace him as well.
And the first handoff, and down the sidelines, racing his way through with a huge pickup on his first carry is Demetrius Rojas. So Rojas, a 5'9", 170-pound junior, with a huge play to start things off.
And we're going to see a steady dose of Dimitri Rojas and Brandon Burrell in the backfield, a two-headed monster for Stroudsburg. Unfortunately, this one's coming back due to a penalty on Stroudsburg.
That's a coach's nightmare, Matt. When you have a penalty like that on a huge play, how frustrating is that for a coach?
You get used to it. What you don't want to do is have it recur over and over. It depends on what the penalty was. You can't fault kids for committing penalties when they're giving a lot of effort.
So start things off once again, and a great job of covering up on the tackle is Niger Reed.
Allen defensively played that well. They have their defensive end take the lead blocker, and then that leaves Niger Reed free, coming through the hole to make the tackle and not giving Stroudsburg any kind of room. So playing discipline assignment football is what Allen is looking to do defensively against Stroudsburg.
Just underway from J. Bernie Crum Stadium in Allentown, Aldi Carlo, Matt Evancho, Peter Capote, and Melissa Fatzinger on the sidelines. Doug Snyder, by the way, the basketball coach, will be honored with his team after winning the district championship, honored at the half. He's actually doing the PA in the stadium. Had a chance to talk to him for about 25 minutes, and always a great chat with him. One of the best, not only coaches, but person when it comes to high school sports in the Lehigh Valley and beyond.
Absolutely. I know beyond just the basketball community, he's respected in the coaching community in the Lehigh Valley, as you said, just with what he's able to do year in and year out with new players all the time and just the mainstay of consistency in his program.
Second down, to the ground they go. Trying to bust to the outside, and there's some space once again bouncing off a defender and going out of bounds right around the 30-yard line. So we've seen a couple solid runs by Rojas.
And you can see Stroudsburg not looking to just put the ball in Bobek's hands and make him make plays, but at least Rojas gives him an opportunity to a somewhat manageable third down situation.
At their own 28.
First down marker sits right at the 35-yard line. A nice breeze for us. We're enjoying the breeze.
Oh, absolutely. This is beautiful weather up here. This is fall football weather.
So third down and about 7. And Bobek in at quarterback out of the gun. And they will keep it on the ground. It's been working so far, but not that time. As driven down to the ground once again has been Rojas.
Peter had asked Coach Clay about the defense and what they were going to do this week defensively to kind of lock down the flaws that they've had the last few weeks with giving up so many points. And he said it wasn't really the defense's fault. The offense had not put them in positions where they were able to be successful. Through a couple picks where the offense threw a couple picks where they were able to get the ball back inside the 10, the 20, and that doesn't bode well for your defense. But here you get a good look at how this Allen defense can play and what they're going to need to do throughout the day.
And they'll boot this one away and get a great punt with the roll. This one all the way down to the 9-yard line, and they're going to try to see if they can get something out of this. It's George Torres, and Torres will get up towards the 18-yard line.
And it looks like we have a flag way back against Stroudsburg.
Stopped by Gambino Martin. Here's a flag on the field.
The officials are called a holding penalty against Stroudsburg, and George Clay is going to elect to have them take the 10 yards from the spot and re-kick.
I would have him do that after that.
Absolutely.
Booming 64-yard kick or so.
Credit Torres for fielding the ball and at least saving some yardage out of that. He was trying to get to it a little earlier, but just couldn't get the angle to the ball.
So underway, about 2.5 minutes into the contest. No score. Stroudsburg going to punt. Now they're going to be moved all the way back. And when you got your punter in Leo Sadamini punting from his end zone, this is a concern. Allen returners, George Torres and Giovanni Hall, standing right around their own 45-yard line. So it's a 4th and 24 on the snap. And he gets another solid punt off. And that one goes off the hands of Hall, and it is picked up, fortunately for Allen, by Quilab Bullock. And Matt, we talked about this before. We talked about the weather, and up here it's breezy. Down there it's not, but when that ball gets up high a little bit, is that doing anything to the football?
It does, and what you saw there from Stroudsburg, the punter had a nice spiral punt, and it turned over, and as soon as that point turned over, it just dropped down on Torres, and he couldn't field it, came up a little short, but luckily for them, Bullock on the spot to pick that up and save some yardage and gain possession.
So Allen from their own 48-yard line, their first possession on the ground.
Stroudsburg's defense this year doing a good job not giving up a lot of points. Unfortunately, just not able to finish off some games. They gave up 21 points to Central Catholic opening week, then gave up 6 to East Stroudsburg North, 21 to Pocono Mountain West, lost to East Stroudsburg South, giving up 21 points against a very good East Stroudsburg South team, and then gave up 7 to Pocono Mountain East last week. So defensively, it's going to be a big struggle both ways.
On the ground, trying to pop to the outside. You take a look at Marks as your quarterback, and Rabinold and Giovanni Hall, those two together. like the dynamic duo, Thunder and Lightning. And Stroudsburg defensively going to have to make some stops against those two players. And we talked about it before, but those wide receivers can make some plays as well.
And the wide receivers are going to have to. Talking early in the game, Allen needs to make the Stroudsburg defense defend the entire field, width and length. So they need to take some shots deep on the correct timing, just to make sure that Stroudsburg gets kept honest.
Now, right there, Giovanni Hall had no chance. As he gets down immediately on the play.
And you kind of see where, with those two in the backfield, they gain a lot of attention. So Stroudsburg really packing the box, not giving any kind of running lanes to those two running backs. So they're going to have to be able to get to those receivers on the outside to try to loosen them up a little bit.
So on a 4th down and 2 from the 47 of Stroudsburg, Allen going here early in the game, and they'll go to the ground and not going to get it right at midfield, but there is a flag at the end of that play.
And I think Allen's going to be bailed out with a face mask on Stroudsburg.
Boy, Stroudsburg got in there really quick, and indeed, they'll get the first down because of it.
Personal foul, face mask against Stroudsburg.
That's a big penalty. A huge penalty.
Yeah, Stroudsburg was about to get off the field, get their offense back on with great field position compared to what they had on the first drive. But they bailed out Allen, giving him a chance inside the 35 now.
First down, Canaries at the Stroudsburg 34.
So 1st and 10 from the 34. On the ground they go. Nice little spacing to the outside and still some room. Finally buried after a gain of 4 for Giovanni Hall. Hall coming into the game, 38 carries, 514, and 6 touchdowns.
And I'd like to see off that play, you have to expect Allen's going to come back with a fake to Hall and then give it to Rabinold coming back underneath on a counter. Like we talked about earlier, pulling in front of him, Ivan Nieves Harris, 6'3", 400-pound offensive tackle. Give him a lot of room there.
Yeah, he'll clear some space. So we'll pick up about 3.5. That snap just gets back. Gets hit as he throws, and that one's picked off. The INT by Brandon Burrell, and Burrell is off to the races. Will he get caught? He will at the 19-yard line. So Burrell, who we talked about offensively, does a great job defensively, makes up a huge play.
That's an ill-advised throw by Marks, and I know when he comes over the sideline, Coach Clay is going to mention that to him. All he had to do is just keep running upfield, tuck the ball, get what he can to the sideline, get out of bounds, gain another possession. He threw a ball in tight coverage, and credit Burrell for a nice play, but also have to credit Marks. The one thing he did was he was knocked down then on the play after throwing the ball, got back up, hustled downfield to save the touchdown, giving the Allen defense here a chance to keep points off the board.
So at 5:56, Stroudsburg now in business, and Stroudsburg will score from 18 yards out on the scoreboard. And Rojas, who's getting the bulk of carries, scores the touchdown. His 6th rushing touchdown of the year.
And that's 3 straight plays where he got the ball, they called his number. So they're using Rojas with Burrell, as we said. And again, as we talked to Coach Clay, he mentioned the offense has not been putting the defense in good positions. This was another example of that situation, throwing the interception, them Stroudsburg getting the ball inside the 20, and then next play scoring a touchdown. So the Allen offense has to do a better job of protecting the ball, but it's still early in the game.
So Matt, what are we seeing here? 5:51 on the clock, and obviously, both teams are showing they can run the football. We've noticed that a little bit already. The ill-advised pass that you mentioned, but overall, looking at it, that's a big play defensively before Allen gets bailed out with a face mask, continues the drive, but then all of a sudden the INT.
And I think with both sides, you look at it, it's mistakes. Not keeping track, I think Stroudsburg has 4 penalties in the first 6 minutes of the game. And one of them bailed them out on that first down. And then for Allen, their one big mistake was the interception. other than that, as long as they clean up their mistakes, I think we're going to be in for a good game where both defenses are going to battle against these high-powered offenses.
So points off turnovers, always a concern for coaches. Brandon Burrell with the INT. He goes about 50-plus yards down to the Allen 18-yard line. And then a play later, Dimitri Rojas scores on the 18-yard score, and for him, again, his 6th rushing touchdown of the season as he closed in on 500 for the year. A little bit later tonight, we'll see Central Catholic and Easton, as Easton looks to stay perfect on the season. Matt, a 7:30 start here at D11sports.com. Here's Hall, and Hall gets smothered right around the 25-yard line. And Matt, talking about that game tonight, interesting for Easton as they are just fired up on all cylinders, playing really well. But you have the Central Catholic team, led by Tim McGorry, the head coach, that is starting to play much better than they've been playing.
I think that's a scary team right now. They have a lot of playmakers all over the place offensively, and a lot of size as well. I think Easton coming in has to be prepared for everything. They are obviously the favorite in that game. Central Catholic has nothing to lose, so they're going to throw everything at them. And I think that's a scary situation for a coach in Coach Brado, making sure that his team is prepared for everything mentally and physically.
5:44 on the clock as Hall gets driven down the ground by Dwight Cawley. And they're getting through that line fast. And early part, the run game was working, and now it's just controlling the line of scrimmage is more so Stroudsburg than Allen.
It is, and it just seems like Stroudsburg has a little bit more sense of urgency on the defense. They're flying around a little bit faster. But like I said earlier, I think Allen needs to do something to loosen up that defense. Right now, they're keying. They have 9 guys in the box. They're not giving anything to this running game of Allen.
They will stay on the ground. They see it coming, and they continue to attack forward up across the 29-yard line, maybe to the 30, depending on the spot. Excuse me.
And I think right now you have to credit the Stroudsburg front defensive line controlling the line of scrimmage and allowing their linebackers to get through and make them change direction in the backfield as opposed to 1 or 2 yards on the other side of the ball.
So a 3rd down and 6. First down marker sitting at the 36-yard line. And the Canaries will take their first timeout here, and it comes at 4:24 on the clock with a 7-0 game. Glad you could join us here on D11sports.com. Game of the week presented by St. Luke's Sports Medicine. Brandon Morrell with the INT goes 50 yards or so to the 18-yard line. A play later, Dimitri Rojas goes 18 yards for the score. And obviously what we're seeing, Matt, is, 2 teams knowing they're in position right now to make something happen.
They are. I think Stroudsburg right now, they're feeling pretty good about themselves. They've gotten a good start. They were able to get down there off the turnover, score some points off that, kind of relieve the pressure off the new quarterback and Boback. But it's defensively where they're being a little bit more impressive. They're stopping this 2-headed attack of Allen and Ravenald and Hall, and they're not giving them any kind of room this series like they did in the first series.
With this added camera here looking at us every now and then, I think people at home are having too much of us already.
They probably will.
Back down to the field we go. It'll be a 3rd down and 6. Again, they fought this one over a little bit. From the 30, looking to throw, has time, and now gets flushed out of the pocket. There's a flag on a play and releases it at the last second, and Hall has it, and we'll get the first down and more all the way across the 43 up towards the 44-yard line, but we wait on that flag. Will this one come back? It will on a hold.
Credit Jonathan Marks with a nice heads-up play, getting flushed out, and just before he's taken to the ground, flips it to Giovanni Hall, who does the rest to get the first down. But unfortunately for Allen, there's a hold, which is going to bring us back and put them deep in the long 3rd down situation.
So you pick up talk about the difference in the plays. is the penalties for both teams have been very costly, without question.
Absolutely, and both of them have really, for Allen, their penalties taken a first down away that they really needed to keep that drive going. But then for Stroudsburg, it kind of stalled their first drive and then also allowed Allen to continue their one drive. Fortunately, they didn't give up any points on that drive when they stepped in front. Burrell stepped in front and got the interception. But it is mistakes that I know both coaches are going to talk about and make sure their team fix before this game continues and moves on to where it causes more damage than it should.
Yeah, 3rd down and 25, the high snap. Looking to throw, far sideline that hangs up there for a while. Could be trouble. And that one incomplete. A good job defensively by Eric Rodriguez. And the punting unit will come in here for the Canaries.
The Stroudsburg secondary, knowing it was basically a pass only down, they were back. They did not let Allen get behind them, and there was really nowhere for Marks to throw. He just threw it up, hoping his receiver had a chance to come up with the ball. Unfortunately, he did not.
So 4th down. This is the second time that the teams have had to punt from their own end zone. Solid punt. Great field position here for Stroudsburg. Edgar Caraballo with the punt for the Canaries.
As you said, punting from his own end zone, that's a very nice punt, getting the ball out almost to the 50-yard line. Fortunate for Stroudsburg, takes a bounce their way.
Matt, you coached a long time, and coaches always say, we have to do the 3 facets of the game, offense, defense, and special teams. And from broadcasting games for 25 years, you realize that it is a third of the game. It really is, and it puts you in a position one way or the other to help yourself going forward.
It does, and I think as a coach, you look at the special teams as playing a chess match. It's one of the strategic move with field position, which in the grand scheme, most people, the casual observer, don't really pay attention to, but mentally for the players, it plays a huge deal in their minds.
So a solid pickup on 1st down. They'll take it up across the 45 down to the 44-yard line. As time winding down in quarter number 1, still at 3:33 on the clock. 7-0 your score, and a touchdown from 18 yards by Dimitri Rojas. It came at the 5:57 mark. Bobek on the handoff, and all blue jerseys. First guy in there for the Canaries was Jose Aquino.
Jose Aquino read his guard from the offense and just blitzed through the hole where he saw Rojas going and stops him short or right behind the line of scrimmage, and waits for his teammates to come in to help him secure the tackle. At some point, Stroudsburg's going to have to throw the ball. They're going to have to put the ball in Bobek's hands to see if he can make a play for the Stroudsburg offense, because it's been all Rojas or Burrell right now.
First down marker sitting at the 38-yard line. Bobek looking to throw, middle part of the field, incomplete. Was looking in the direction of Robert Cruz. And they'll bring up a 4th down. And going to bring in the punting unit. Matt, surprised here or not surprised, depending on where the ball is? Obviously, the way the punters can punt, they can pin him inside the 10-yard line would be great.
And I think if he would have had a couple yards on that play, maybe it was 3rd and 5 or 4th and 5, we might have seen Stroudsburg go for it. But I think at this early in the game, kind of pinning Allen deep and trusting your defense to get the ball back on another short field is probably what Coach Miller's looking to do.
Leo Santamini on his own 41-yard line. A long count. That one skips to him, and Santamini just gets it off and gets a great one down to the 5-yard line. George Torres picks it up down the sideline and gets up towards the 22. They'll mark him right around the 23-yard line. So with 2:21 on the clock, it remains a 7-0 score.
And you can see how Stroudsburg, as you mentioned, Torres and Hall back for Allen returning punts. Stroudsburg doing a real nice job with Santamini kicking away from Hall, not letting him touch the ball at any extra times that they other than offense.
You can hear that wind gusting every now and then. Great view of the field. Again, when you're here at J. Bernie Crum, the press box is way up. We've set up at the platform, and just gives us a great view of the entire game. From the 23, in the last 5 runs for the Canaries have gone for not positive yards. That could have been a penalty there at the end by Giovanni Hall. The last thing you want to do is, some extracurricular after the play.
Exactly. And you won't see it show up here on the play or the stat sheet, but you have to credit that stop to number 58 for Stroudsburg, Carmelo Silva, 6'2", 235-pound junior defensive lineman. He shut down that trap and made Hall cut back to the backside where there was nothing but pursuing from the Stroudsburg defense.
.138 and counting, opening quarter, 7-0 is your score. Motion to the near side is Hall. High snap, looking to throw into the near side. That one gets into the hands of George Torres, and Torres is taken down right around the 28-yard line.
We talk so much about Allen's two-headed attack at the running back. I think for Allen to get things going, they need to attack the secondary. As we stated earlier, 3 starters are missing due to injury in the secondary. 1 player was moved from an outside linebacker spot to a safety spot. So essentially 4 new starters in the secondary. They need to start attacking them and make them make plays if they're going to win.
So Marks out of the shotgun. You talk about those receivers who may come their way now, and that one's incomplete. Was looking towards George Torres, and George Torres has 8 receptions for 108. Darius King has 9 receptions for 115. Still trying to get them in a little rhythm.
It's going to take a little bit of time. They had him there. They ran a hitch route to Torres where he broke right past the first down marker. It looks like Marks may have just rushed it a little bit. He had no pressure. All he needs to do is just settle down, and I think once he starts finding his receivers, that's going to open up a lot of the running lanes for Hall and Ravenel.
This one towards the sideline on the punt. And they will mark it right at midfield with 42 seconds left in the opening quarter. If you're just joining us here for our D11sports.com Game of the Week, we're coming to you live from J. Bernie Crum Stadium in Allentown on a Saturday afternoon. We'll be back here a little bit later tonight for Central Catholic and Easton. 2 teams just continuing to play well over the last few weeks, and Easton's just been tremendous. We saw them in week 1 against Pocono Mountain West, and a chance to see them again tonight. Should be a great atmosphere. From the 50, Boback has stayed on the ground for the most part this afternoon, as Rojas has taken out of bounds after a pick of about 3.
You talked earlier, you asked earlier about field position. Starting the game, Stroudsburg started with the ball, but then got pushed back, and Allen was able to work a short field offensively for them, not able to get anything out of it, but now that whole field position battle has shifted. Stroudsburg has yet to have a play offensively take place on their side of the 50 in this first quarter.
36 seconds remaining. They go with 3 receivers, 2 up top, 1 to the near side on a 2nd down and 8. First down marker right at the 40-yard line, on the ground again, and they will indeed get the first down and getting a little bit more to the outside. Good job by Rojas. Again, Rojas in that open space will really burn you each and every time, and he's done that today.
He has. He's finding a lot of space. He's also using his vision to find that opening space, and you have to credit his receivers on the outside. Right now, they're not being thrown the ball very much with the backup quarterback in, but they're out there doing whatever they need to do to help their offense be successful.
Now they put themselves in position here. First down and 10 from their own from Allen's 31-yard line, up already by a score of 7-0.
Be interesting to see if Coach Miller decides to try to catch Allen off balance and throw the ball.
Now the lefty's going to throw. Boback goes far side, and right when he turned around, Robert Cruz saw the ball right at him. That came to him a little bit quicker than he expected.
And he had to get rid of it when he did. He had Niger Reed, number 44 for Allen, just eyeing him up, came through and smacked him just as he delivered the ball away.
Still 23 seconds remaining in the opening quarter. on the ground. Through his seam, pushing forward, still on his feet, and all the way down to the 15-yard line as Stroudsburg continues to move the chains, and has been a lot of number 26 this afternoon.
I don't think we'll see Stroudsburg run another play in this quarter. They'll let the clock run out, and the offense is starting to move with this running game in Rojas, and they're using him effectively and using the line to open up holes for him, and he's just hitting the hole fast and making things happen.
Through one from J. Bernie Crum Stadium in Allentown, and the Canaries find themselves down by a score of 7-0. Back after this for a D11Sports.com Game of the Week presented by St. Luke's Sports Medicine.
Are serious. 3 million sport, recreation, and auto accident-related concussions happen each year. 20% of high school athletes who play contact sports will suffer a concussion during the season. St. Luke's is the region's leader in assessing, managing, and treating concussions in athletes and non-athletes of all ages. Our multi-specialty teams of experts collaborate to care for you using the latest treatment options. Don't play head games, take concussion seriously. Call St. Luke's to schedule an appointment with one of our concussion experts.
We are back here at J. Bernie Crum Stadium in Allentown, and it's a 7-0 game here after one quarter of play. Brandon Burrell with the big INT went 50-plus yards, returned to the 18-yard line, and then Dimitri Rojas goes 18 yards for the score, and that's the difference in the first quarter of action for those two teams, right here. So, you look at what they've done, and, after one quarter of play, you play 4 quarters, though, so that's the big difference. Your thoughts, Matt, of the first quarter?
Looking at the first quarter, Stroudsburg started off slow, penalties on their first opening drive, but they flipped that around with the interception, scoring right off of that, and then everything's been on Allen's side of the field so far in the first quarter. Here, Stroudsburg's threatening again, but Allen's not playing bad. They just need to tighten up and keep them out of the end zone here. If they can do that and then get the offense going, as you said, it is a 4-quarter game.
Here's Burrell, and Burrell gets wrapped up on the play as he comes through. Just underway here in quarter number 2.
Gain of 3, 2nd and 7, ball at the Canary 12.
So the ball to the 29-yard line.
Stroudsburg's going to have to hurry up to get
Yeah,
this play off.
Not much time at all, and you're going to have to call a timeout. So that's the last thing you want to do is take a timeout 2 plays into the second quarter, and you saw it right away. They were taking a lot of time in getting that going.
And it looked like there was a mistake or a miscommunication with personnel. They were late getting a receiver on the field, and that just caused them to not be able to get that off in time. But again, you want to make sure that you're in a good position and you're ready to go. Being down here, this is where you can ill afford to have mistakes if you're on Stroudsburg in offense.
7-0 is your score as we are back here at J. Bernie Crum Stadium in Allentown. You can hear that wind roaring. Luckily, it's not the middle of winter, or else we'd be flying around.
When you're standing here, though, you hear the wind, and it sounds much worse than it feels.
That's correct.
It's not cooling down, but I will say the one thing we're fortunate, we don't have that constant pounding that we heard in pregame coming from the construction just a little ways away.
We're happy about that. So when we get back to action here, it'll be a 2nd down and 7, the ball at the 18-yard line.
See if Stroudsburg looks to get Burrell in the groove here offensively and use Rojas as a decoy.
Bo back, going to throw, and that one skipped through as he delivered the ball quickly, and he was trying to get into the hands of Rodriguez.
And he had him open on the slant route. It just looked like he just threw the ball straight into the ground. Didn't give him one where you can catch it, at least catch it and get down, not even worrying about getting extra yardage.
The last minute, I'm not even going to say the last minute, the last 45 seconds of the first quarter and the first minute of the second quarter has taken a tremendous amount of time. Have you noticed that?
And we've only seen throughout this whole first half so far, I think, a handful of passes. So the clock's been running a lot.
3rd and 7 from the 18. They can get a first down. And they'll give it to Rojas. Rojas tries to find the edge, and he will get the first down, and he will cruise in for the touchdown. 18 yards on the score for Rojas. His second touchdown of the game. First one was also from 18 yards.
And you get a good look at Rojas and the speed he has to get to the edge. He had 3 Allen defenders out there who took a little bit of a poor angle to him. He was able to get outside of him of Rabinold, also Torres, as well as Figueroa coming from a safety spot, just able to outrun them to the pylon.
Extra point is no good. So 13-0 your score.
And even with the way the game has been going, Stroudsburg really has had control of this game other than that first drive. First drive for them offensively, first drive for Allen offensively. They've kind of taken control after that. But with that being said, Allen's not out of this game. It's only 13-0. They've made some mistakes that have cost them. If they can get that running game going, get Marks to connect with some receivers, some things can change for them, and they can come back and make this become a game. They can't hang their heads right now, and they can't look at this and say, all right, we're done, it's over with. They have to come back, and they have to just lock in with what they need to do and just get back to their game plan.
11:02 remaining on the clock, 13-0 your score. So our touchdowns scored at 5:57 of the first quarter and 11:02 of the second quarter, and both 18-yard touchdown runs by Dimitri Rojas. You know, we go back to this day, and I never want to jinx us, but it's a perfect afternoon. You know, a little warmer than it's been in the first few weeks when, you know, we were up in Pocono Mountain West for the first game of the year, and it felt like October. We're approaching October, and it feels like the end of August. So, you know, things change, and, you know, later tonight, as Giovanni Hall returns that one, we're expecting, you know, a great matchup between Central Catholic and Easton, but we're also expecting possible rain, which we don't like that much. But
no, we need to hope for that game's purpose.
You melt if it rains.
I don't like cold. I don't like the weather anymore. Just keep me comfortable.
You know, I'm still getting engaged. So Matt, you coached for so long, and you always wore shorts into November, and now you can't wear shorts into August.
No, not at all. Do not like the cold weather anymore.
1st and 10 from the 28. Motion. And they'll keep it on the ground with Hall. And Hall going nowhere. He gets taken down in the play. There was a couple of white jerseys in there on the stop.
And again, it's just that Stroudsburg defense not giving the running backs for Allen any room anywhere. And I'd hate to say, as the game wears on, I think if it continues to go this way, Stroudsburg's secondary is just going to gain more and more confidence, and they're not going to respect that passing game of Allen, and they're going to start to play a lot better, being that they're basically 4 new starters in their positions.
So 2nd and 10 from the 28. Hall in motion, and that bounces right off a Hall, and Stroudsburg is going to come up with the football. Right on the exchange, Hall was in motion. It bounced, I believe, off his left shoulder pad. And a huge break here.
Just a turn of events that Allen could not afford at this point in time. They need to get the stop here. They can't afford to go down 21 or 20-0.
Stroudsburg now takes over 1st down and 10 from the 28-yard line with 10:10 on the clock. Bo back with 3 receivers, 2 up top, 1 to the near side. He will indeed try to throw. Looking for his receiver to get open, and he gets behind the defender and a touchdown. 28 yards on the touchdown.
And that was quick. He found Eric Rodriguez, 5'10", 165-pound senior. They had a crossing route with him and Burrell on the top side of the screen, and Boback was looking for the outside. He was looking for Burrell, but there was good coverage on him. and he did just enough to throw the ball where Rodriguez was able to get behind Torres and pull it in for the touchdown.
And that one is up and good by Leo Sadamini. And Stroudsburg up by a score of 20-0. Matt, we talked about it. So far, the turnovers have been very, very costly to Allen.
They have. You have to credit Stroudsburg as well. They had the interception by Burrell early on, the fumble recovery there by the defense. They were able to quickly capitalize on both of them. Both one plays offensively afterwards, they're in the end zone. So Stroudsburg, after they get the turnovers, they're attacking the end zone as quickly as they can, trying to catch Allen off guard and off balance. But again, early in the game, still plenty of time left. Allen just needs to settle down. Again, they can go back to that running game. They don't have to force the issue yet. They can continue to just stay within their game plan and try to just chip away at this lead that Stroudsburg has created.
You mentioned about digging yourself a hole. This is a huge drive here with 10:04 on the clock. Up towards the 32, 33-yard line on the return by Giovanni Hall. Again, let's look at these Canaries. Giovanni Hall has 514 yards. Ravenel has 238. First game since the first week when Ravenel got hurt against the Emmaus team. Been back and forth injured. So, Coach Clay said to us, he's excited. He wants to see how they're gonna, mesh together. And right now, though, the issue has been the turnovers. That's got to be your biggest concern. The INT leads to a touchdown. The fumble leads to a touchdown. And you're down with still 10 minutes left in the first half, down by the score of 20-0.
And for Allen, if you can just get one score back on this drive.
Float this one out. And they're going to go for positive yards and almost a first down as diving forward is Ravenel.
And that's one way to neutralize an aggressive defense, is to allow them to come through and run a screen pass right behind them. And that time they're able to find Ravenel with a lot of blockers out in front of them. And they do get an early first down. This is the first down since the first drive of the game for Allen.
So 1st and 10 from the 44, 9:28 on the clock in the first half. Almost intercepted again, as reaching the hand out there is Wayne Hamilton. Hamilton saw the end zone, and he's like thinking about it quicker than he thought. He's like, wait, I can get this.
There was a lot of empty space in front of him. Marks trying to find his receiver on the slant, and it looked like he had his receiver, but just a little late on the throw, and Hamilton undercut that route.
Second and 10 from the 44. Ravenel again. It's driven down after maybe a pickup of about a yard and a half, too.
And Ravenel's, he's battling in there. He's trying to get as much yardage as he can against this Stroudsburg defense that is just stifling this rushing attack of Allen.
At their own 46.
So bringing up a 3rd down and 8. George Torres lined up top. Darius King to the near side from the 48. Rolling, looking to throw, nothing down there. Now throws middle part of the field, has a receiver wide open, and that's George Torres, and Torres is gone. Torres, 52 yards for the touchdown.
As we stated earlier, the screen pass to Ravenel, how that kind of neutralized the pass rush and the aggressiveness of the Stroudsburg defense. Likewise, that rollout to Marks, able to move the pocket and pin the defense inside of him where he has a straight unobstructed view in front of him, able to scan the defense and found Torres with a breakdown in coverage, able to get a big play for this Allen offense. We'll see if this can spark them moving forward.
So the touchdown comes at the 8:24 mark as they answer on the touchdown. Giovanni Hall with the extra point. He's everywhere on the field. That one is up, and that one is through. So with 8:24 on the clock, it's 20-7 in favor of Stroudsburg on the 52-yard touchdown pass from Jonathan Marks to George Torres. And we said much needed, Matt. At the same time, it was a perfectly designed play.
It was. They did a nice job of moving the pocket, as I stated with Marks, getting him out to his right and allowing him to see the field in front of him without having the Stroudsburg defense rushing and straight on him. And he was able to pick apart, find a breakdown in coverage, and able to find Torres free in the secondary, and it was just him the rest of the way. You know, we always talk about, too, coming out here, 8.5 minutes left in the half. You just scored for Allen. If they can get out here and get a stop, get the offense back on the field, maybe get another score, they're getting the ball back in the second half. They're right back in this game. If they can make that, get those turn of events to come their way, this is a whole different game. Just as you thought Stroudsburg was going to run away with it, Allen's coming back with this.
Well, we said that many times before. When you look at 8:24, so many things can happen in 8 minutes and 24 seconds. It can change one way or the other, and you're right. You know, this becomes a big possession. Stroudsburg offensively, their running game has been outstanding, and now they're starting to mix it up with the passing. And for Allen, you know, they've been running, and all of a sudden they come up with a nice pass to, you know, get the touchdown. This one from the 8. And on the return by Rodriguez, who has the big touchdown. If you're just joining us for our D11sports.com Game of the Week presented by St. Luke Sports Medicine, we thank you for taking part. We'll be part of 2 games today from J. Bernie Crum Stadium. Al DiCarlo, Matt Evancho, along with Melissa Fatzinger and Peter Capote, both student reporters from Allen High School, doing a great job for us, not only in the program, but on the sidelines today. We'll hear from them once again at the half. At half, also, the Allen Canaries 2018-19 basketball team will be honored for winning a district championship. On the ground once again, Rojas. And Rojas not stopping, still moving forward, and he'll get the first down and still on his feet as he picks up an extra 12 yards after the first initial hit. Great job by Dimitri Rojas, who came into the game with 71 carries for 422 yards.
And you talk about Rojas and what a team player he has been. He stepped in for Burrell, who was out with injury, and then you get Burrell back, and he just continues to play. He just continues to perform for this Mountaineer offense.
Ball sits right at midfield. Clock winding down at 7:45 and counting. And it's Rojas again. A huge opening on the outside, and he gets to it. And still scrambling. Tough to get down. Another 14-yard pickup. So Rojas.
I mean, if you look at Rojas, he's listed at 5'9", 170. He's running like he's like 6'1", 220. He's running with a lot of strength, a lot of power, and a lot of confidence. If you're Allen right now, you're kind of happy that Stroudsburg takes Rojas out of the game to give him a break. But you still have to contend with Brendan Burrell.
That's correct. And Boback, if he decides to pass, and his favorite target has been number 9 in Eric Rodriguez. We'll see here from the 38-yard line. Boback on the ground, Burrell. Burrell straight through the middle, and Burrell found that opening. So 3 carries here for Stroudsburg, and they've gone about 50 yards downfield.
The William Allen defense is going to have to find some answer for this Stroudsburg rushing attack. It's gaining too many yards on, as you said, 3 plays, they've flipped the field position again.
Under 7 to play, 20-7 is your score.
See if Coach Miller elects to take a shot at the end zone on first down like they did previously.
Burrell again on the carry, and he gets another 6 yards on the pickup. So he's really burning through that line.
And at some point, we're going to have to start talking about this offensive line of Stroudsburg, opening up these holes for these running backs, because the running backs aren't just doing it on their own. They're not getting hit until 3, 4, 5 yards down the field.
They can get a first down right around the 10.5. Second down and 5 from the 18. They've scored 2 touchdowns from this range. And it's Burrell 3 in a row, and this time he gets tripped up on the play. Great job defensively by Edgar Caraballo.
That time Edgar Caraballo saw the hole. He just blitzed right through it and able to get enough of Burrell to bring him down in the backfield. Right now, still no sign of Rojas coming back in offensively for Stroudsburg.
Yeah, that's got to be a concern as well. He seemed like he went off the field. He did get wrapped up by 3 players, but it seemed like he went off the field okay. But he was right on the sidelines when he did go off. So don't know if it's an injury or just got pulled out. And, we know we were going to get a lot of Burrell, who made his first start, and he was the starter last year. But Rojas just been unstoppable. Third down, ball at the 21. Bo back in the throw. Nothing there. Now finds a seam, and that one's intercepted. Picked off right into the hands of Caraballo. Caraballo has a block in front, and he gets it. And Caraballo could go the distance here as he beats the last defender. Bo back to reach. How about 98 yards for the touchdown? But that yellow hanky there, that is possibly bringing this one back. Highlight fill for him that he may still use. And a great block we saw here at midfield, so I thought. Allen coaching staff not pleased, and this will bring it all the way back.
And the question will be, when did the penalty occur? What was it, and who gets possession?
I'm almost positive that was after the interception. I didn't see it, but I was also looking towards the end zone, so we will wait.
And I think you shortchanged him on the return. I thought he was in the end zone coming out.
Okay.
I was going to give him 101 yards.
Okay. Then, 101 it is. And this one is against Allen.
But it looks like they're going to retain possession because the Allen offense is coming out on the field.
So 101 yards on the return will come back, and instead you'll start from your own 10. That all said, you're going to still take it because, you're looking at a possible 27-7 game, and right now you try to run some clock here.
And I think Coach Clay and his coaching staff has to look at this and say, you know what, if we can force Stroudsburg into a situation where they have to throw the ball and we play good coverage, we have the chance to get the ball back. Bell back not having a lot of starting experience for Stroudsburg, can they take advantage of that? But right now, with just under 5 minutes left in this half, Allen has to do something with his drive. They can't afford to give the ball back to Stroudsburg on a short field.
Remember that one at 4:51 in the exchange. The pump, there's a couple there, and then trying to get through. I think Jonathan Marks, after he pumped, he thought he saw a huge opening in the interior line, and then that closed really quick on him.
And you have to credit the secondary for Stroudsburg. They did not fall asleep on the screen pass where they faked out to him, and then they tried to leak Giovanni Hall down the field. You have to credit the safety, number 3, Terrence Jewell, who was staying there. He's one of the guys getting a start today that was not in the starting lineup last week as a sophomore, filling in for some of those injuries. He played disciplined football, not giving up anything on that play.
Second down, on the ground they go. Wow, all white jerseys flying on through there, including Jawan Little, number 71.
And as we said multiple times today, just that Stroudsburg defensive front is not really giving anything to this Allen running game.
3:46 on the clock as time winding through here in the first half of play.
with 3rd and long, you have to think this is a passing down for Allen. For Stroudsburg, they've played the pass. Other than that one time, they've played the pass so well. Let's see what they can do here.
From their own 10. Time to throw, middle part of the field, and the completion is made into the hands of Andrew Mumma. But with that, you bring up a 4th down.
And Coach Clay taking his time to determine what he wants to do here on 4th down. But nice play call for Allen, and nice play call getting a lot of receivers out, spreading that Stroudsburg defense out, and giving Marks a nice, easy read, finding Mumma right straight in front of him where the linebacker's vacated.
And I think, he's going to call a timeout with 2:54 to really regroup his offense and put them in a position kind of to, get a good punt off here. And we saw so far 2 good punts earlier. You're Allen. You need a great one here because you want to make sure that you don't let anyone loose.
But from here, it looks like Allen's keeping their offense on the field. Now, don't get me wrong. Maybe Marks gets back there. He's able to get a quick kickoff possibly. But it looks like they're going to put the offense back out on the field. This is a risky play for Allen because you don't want to give Stroudsburg that short field with under 3 minutes left. You have all the momentum right now. You can't afford to have that shift against you.
Well, Giovanni Hall comes to the sideline, so he's not on there. This would shock me if they go for it from their own 18-yard line in the game at 20-7.
Or can you be disciplined enough to get Stroudsburg to jump off sides?
And that's the thing. That's what you're doing right there.
I mean, you have one more timeout if necessary, if you don't get them to jump off sides.
And that's the only thing I think they're doing here.
But then when you bring in Niger Reed as another extra blocking back, and you have Ravenel back there, if you can get him full speed coming downhill, he's hard to bring down short of that 1st down marker.
4th down and 2. And they go for it, and they're not going to get it.
Based on the mark, I'm not sure.
The initial spot looked like it was pretty close.
Not quite sure. It looked like there was a
they got it.
miscommunication.
They're not even going to measure this one. And you can hear the crowd, surprised. I mean, the mark right off the bat, how about that? They get the 1st down. It looked like it was, the spot was pretty good coming in as they got that one. So that's a huge play for Allen and a very, very gutsy call.
And that's a break that goes in Allen's favor because they snapped it on the wrong snap count. Yep. Marks turned around. No one else was moving. Heads-up play, just getting up behind his lineman and trying to get the 1st down, and just gets enough.
Didn't go the way they wanted, but they got the 1st down. They moved the chains. They have 2:20 on the clock, and they still have 1 timeout remaining, down by the score of 20-7. Looking to throw, has a receiver wide open, and yes, indeed, right into the hands of Giovanni Hall. And just like that, you go from 4th and 2 to 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. Another catch by Giovanni Hall.
I think we would sit up here and we would say there was no doubt you should go for it on that 4th down. No doubt. Definitely go for it. But Marks, what a nice pass. He just laid that out there for Hall. And as I said earlier, just as number 3 for Stroudsburg, Terrence Jewell, making a heads-up play, staying disciplined. This time they're starting to attack that youth and inexperience, and they're able to get Hall behind him. An experienced player in Hall up against an inexperienced player in Jewell. I think Allen is going to look for that matchup more often in the second half.
Well, it was an obvious call, 4th and 2. Any coach would go for it from their own 18. I don't know what you're talking about. Looking to throw. One-on-one coverage, incomplete. Defensively on the coverage was Rodriguez. They were looking for the first time today to Darius King.
And that's when I think Darius King has to go back, watch the film, and he needs to plant his foot, come back underneath the defender and high point that ball and not allow the defender any point to be able to make a play to knock the ball away. So I think it was about 7 minutes ago, Al, we talked about how the fact if Allen can get a score on that drive and then possibly get a stop and then come back down and get another score and get the ball back in the second half, we have a completely different game now. But they need to finish this drive off.
No question. From the 21, little flare pass, and didn't see that one really coming his way was Ravenel.
Like on that screen pass, Ravenel just took it a little bit slower than Marks had time for. He had the Stroudsburg rush, defensive line rushing in front of his face. He had to get rid of that quicker than he wanted to. Well, now we hear the wind picking up.
So 1:36 on the clock.
Part of the problem now, we have that wind picking up, bringing the smells of the funnel cake
You
down this way.
That smells pretty good.
What a great invention, frying dough. And then putting confection sugar on top of it.
I don't know. I've never had that before. I don't know what you're talking about. 3rd and 10 from the 21. Allen going to try to come away with points. Here comes the pressure, and the ball is lost, and Stroudsburg's going to roll on top of it. Wow. Huge play.
Number 32, Christian Abuja.
Stroudsburg brings a extra pressure from the right side of Allen's offense. No one picks him up. Mark sees him late and tries to bring the ball in to protect it, but just can't. And Stroudsburg knocks it loose. And as you said, picking it up for Stroudsburg, almost able to get out, was Christian Abuja.
Yep. So he didn't have the initial hit, I don't think. But it comes up with the fumble recovery. All the way up at the 35. So let's see what Stroudsburg does now with 1:29 on the clock on the fumble recovery by Christian Abuja. And it's Burrell. Burrell breaks through, and Burrell's still on his feet. They will get the first down. Clock will stop momentarily. If you're wondering, Stroudsburg does have 2 timeouts. So, Matt, this is huge as we're talking about this. You know, you're talking about maybe 20-13, 20-14 going into the half, and now, you know, depending on what Stroudsburg does, you know, they could increase the lead to actually 20.
And I think we'll see Stroudsburg continue to push the action to try to get that extra score in.
On the ground, Burrell. So it's been all Burrell since the last drive to now.
And Rojas is coming back on the field now. Yep. He was on the bench for a little while with an ice pack on his neck, so maybe it's just some heat problems.
Well, he had those 3 runs in a row, you know, 25, 20, and, you know, 8 or so, but they're taking a lot of time here. I know the ball's still at the 49-yard line, and it'll be this play when they decide what happens versus if do they use the timeout or not. And it's Burrell trying to cut up field, and he will. And Burrell will get close to the first down. Let's see if Stroudsburg would use a timeout. I expect they should, or they would.
It doesn't look like they're going to. I think they're just going to take this into the half, up 13.
Matt, surprised?
A little bit. I think they could push the action a little bit. You have your 2 timeouts. As you can, we can hear the displeasure in the Stroudsburg fans for not using any of those timeouts.
So the 55-yard reception by Giovanni Hall to the 21, but the drive is stalled as Christian Abuja comes up with a fumble recovery at the 35-yard line. And at the half, Stroudsburg goes into the locker room leading by the score of 20-7. And we'll have more action here in the halftime show as well. When we come back from J. Bernie Crum Stadium in Allentown, you're watching our D11Sports.com Game of the Week presented by St. Luke's Sports Medicine. Back after this.
St. Luke's Orthopedic Care. Extraordinary care in motion.
Concussions are serious. 3 million sport, recreation, and auto accident-related concussions happen each year. 20% of high school athletes who play contact sports will suffer a concussion during the season. St. Luke's is the region's leader in assessing, managing, and treating concussions in athletes and non-athletes of all ages. Our multi-specialty teams of experts collaborate to care for you using the latest treatment options. Don't play head games, take concussions seriously. Call St. Luke's to schedule an appointment with one of our concussion experts. Are you searching for a place where you belong? Where your fitness matters? Regardless of what shape you're in, St. Luke's Fitness and Sports Performance Centers have a professional team that will help you meet or exceed your fitness goals. With locations throughout the region and nationally recognized fitness experts, you'll become a member of a supportive fitness community. We call it Extraordinary Fitness. Visit us online to start your free 7-day membership and let us help you thrive.
We are back here at J. Bernie Crum Stadium in Allentown. Aldi Carlo, Matt Evancho, Melissa Fatzinger, and Peter Capote on the sidelines. We're at the half. 20-7 is your score. An interesting first half as both teams had a number of chances throughout the game in the first half. And even there at the end of the first half, you know, a golden opportunity for Allen after the interception or first the reception. You know, a lot of things happened there for them, but they could not convert. And with that, the score is 27 at the half. That said, we go down to the sidelines, and I'm hearing some good music right now. The Stroudsburg High School Marching Band. Enjoy the halftime show.
Tonight, the band is proud to present its 2019 field show, The Power of the Love. You'll hear Metallica, Linkin Park, and Evanescence. Drum majors for the band are senior Gabby Jasmine and junior Sam Hallenstein. Drum majors, here's the band. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Stroudsburg High School Marching Band.
Right now it's live on YouTube and also on yeah, it's live right now. We got the band and everything. So, okay. Yep. Are they gonna go talk? Gotta see Bruce move. No, they're ready.
Hall of Fame pitcher Steve Carlton knows what it takes to exceed expectations. He knows what it means to be part of a team that rises above the competition. He knows a champion. Steve Carlton knows St. Luke's Orthopedic Care.
So you're hurting. Is it your back or your knee? That old football injury? Get the rehabilitation you need. In most cases, you won't need a script from your doctor. In Pennsylvania and New Jersey, a law called Direct Access lets you see a physical therapist without a prescription. And if your insurance
the William Allen Athletic Department, Allentown School District, and the community of City of Allentown would like to recognize the 2018-19 William Allen Canaries boys basketball team on capturing the 2018-19 6A District 11 championship. This was the 13th district title in Allentown William Allen High School history. It was the fourth under the direction of Coach Snyder. At this time, the team is bearing their championship warm-up, plaques, and trophies. Trophies dedicated by a community member. At this time, to say some congratulatory words of this accomplishment is the top bird in the Canary Nation, our principal at William Allen High School, Mr. Shannon Mayfield.
First of all, thank you all for being here and supporting our young people. Parents, I want to congratulate you on these fine young men standing behind me. Coaches, thank you all for your service. At this point, I want to say two things. These young people are showing us what it is like when you work together, when you have character, and when you compete with the right attitude. These young men are doing what adults can't do. And we want to follow their leadership, their model, and their mold. As the principal, leading an urban high school with all kinds of challenges, these young men persevered, they won a championship, and most importantly, they did it the right way. You need to give them a big round of applause. Congratulations, gentlemen. I salute you. At this time, I want to call up the coach. This gentleman, 24 years at this school, 400 career victories, Morning Call Boys Basketball Coach of the Year, and is a better person than he is a coach. Coach Doug Snyder.
Early in the season, we played over at Liberty. I walked down the hallway at halftime. We were losing 32-14. We were down 18 points. We lost to Liberty. We lost to Freedom. We lost to Parkland in our own Christmas tournament. We lost to Emmaus once and then a second time in the playoffs. And then all of a sudden, this group came together. And we beat Pocono Mountain East in overtime. We beat Emmaus in the semifinal, and we beat Parkland by 26 in the district final after losing to them. So this is one of the most gratifying teams that I have had the opportunity to coach, from where we started and where we ended up. And then we even won a state playoff game, which was a great thing as well. Here is the 2019 District 11 6A championship team, our freshman class. Now these grades are from last year. They would be one grade more this year, but last year, freshman point guard Nate Ellis. By the way, Nate had 27 points in the district final as a freshman. Freshman guard Elijah Vigo. Sophomore starter Emmanuel Azuna. Sophomore guard Malkia Copeland. Sophomore forward Evan Wilt. Junior class from last year, currently seniors. So everybody was back in this group. Shooting guard, junior last year, Isaiah Vigo. Big man inside, a forward, Quentin Stewart. A point guard and shooting guard, junior from last year, Disley Mendez Garcia. And now, two of the four seniors, who are here with us today. One of our seniors, Josh Stout, is over at Moravian College in his freshman year working the football game. And one of our other players is a junior, now a senior. Quell Adderley is down in Charlotte, North Carolina on a college visit. The two seniors at present who are now moving on with their lives, Daquan Smith and Alan Young. The support and coaching staff, a student who has a presentation to make to Alan Young from Max Preps, Randy Garcia. Okay. Assistant coach and teacher at Ritter Elementary School in Allentown, Connor Hughes. Assistant coach and now assistant principal at Allen High School, Randy Attia. Water boy and manager, Joe Rohrbach. Last year's freshman coach, Brian Buslitz. And last year, also a 5th grade teacher at Lehigh Parkway in the city of Allentown, and varsity assistant, Dave Peters. And of course, our principal, Mr. Shannon Mayfield. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your attention. Thank you for your support.
'St. Luke's Orthopedic Care. Extraordinary care in motion.
And 15, where they tried to make a move and fumbled. All right, Peter, what did you observe?
Stroudsburg has played a very balanced game. Amir Rojas, the running back, has scored 2 of their touchdowns today. They have been very good on the defensive ball with 2 turnovers against Allen, stopping their momentum, and have played a very well-balanced game. If they play this way, they should win this game.
What do you think is one of Stroudsburg's greatest strengths against us?
Probably as of right now, a good balanced running game. They've been able to exploit it all day, and they haven't been making mistakes when it matters.
Hopefully, Allen can pull out their offense to support their defense instead of what they've been doing so far, and hopefully we can get ahead.
That's just, I will keep my comments to myself on those matters.
All right, back to you.
All right, thanks, guys. Down in the field doing a great job. Melissa Fatzinger and Peter Capote on the sidelines for us for the William Allen Canaries.
In the microphone.
All right. You know, it was nice to see that the Allen basketball team was honored at the half, 13 district championships. Doug Snyder, we mentioned before, one of the best coaches out there as well, 400-plus wins, another championship for his team, just brings his team together each and every time. And, you know, an interesting first half, though, when we look at it, you know, this first half of play so far, you know, as we get into the second half, 20-7, it could have been 27-7, it could have been 20-14. A lot of things could have happened. Turnovers and, you know, field position changed a lot of things. Your thoughts on the first half?
Exactly. I was going to mention, excuse me, the last 5 minutes of the first half, how many different swings that could have taken for each team. And to sit here at 20-7, I think we're going to be in store for a nice football game in the second half. And I wanted to credit Coach Snyder. You mentioned 13 district championships for William Allen, 4 of them under him. But not only just his district championships, the fact that he had to leave that presentation down there, sprint up 2 flights of stairs as he's just getting up behind us right now.
Yeah, I see him
Not
now.
yet up to the announcer's booth, but this is a tough hike coming up these steps.
Yeah, I don't know if he's sprinting up there, though. That's the only thing. All right, let that down to the field we go, and we get ready for second half action. That is fielded at the 10-yard line. And, again, Allen starts the ball with Hall, and Hall busts the outside, has some room, and Hall all the way up to the 45-yard line. So a good start here, and great field position for Allen as we start the second half. Again, 20-7 is your score, and we'll take you through the scoring in this one. Brandon Burrell had an INT that went 50-plus yards to the 18, and at the 5:51 mark of quarter number 1, Dimitri Rojas scored to make it 7-0 in favor of Stroudsburg. That was your score after 1 quarter of play. To the second quarter at the 11:02 mark, about 58 seconds in, 18-yard touchdown, the second of the game by Rojas to make it 13-0. Extra point was no good. They will go on the ground, and again, the defense for Stroudsburg has been outstanding on that carry there. Not much running room, as we said, by Rabinold. Allen fumbled on the snap. It actually hit Hall. Stroudsburg took over at the 28-yard line. That led to a 28-yard Brady Boback to Eric Rodriguez touchdown to make it 20-0 with 10:04 on the clock. But from there, things started to change. A 52-yard touchdown, Jonathan Marks to George Torres, made it 20-7. That came at the 8:24 mark. And we'll continue after this play. After picking up just 1. On the ground, Rabinold again. Breaks through, shows that big physical body, and gets up towards the 48-yard line. Bring up a third down at about 5.5. Then a 101-yard interception return by Edgar Caraballo. It was called back, however. Remember, they went for it on 4th down and 2 from their own 18 with only 4 minutes and 50 seconds on the clock. So they end up getting that. And then from there, Giovanni Hall with a 55-yard reception down to the 21-yard line. Allen all of a sudden looking like they're going to possibly score, but Christian Abuja comes up with a fumble recovery after a big hit on the quarterback Marks. They took over at the 35. The clock ran out, and that's where we are here in the third quarter with a score of 20-7 here on a 3rd down and 6. Rabinold again and fights through, and the push forward, he'll be sure of the first down. And Matt, I asked you this question. You went from your own 18. Now the ball's at the 48 on 4th down. Is this guaranteed?
I think they're absolutely going for it. I was just going to mention it before you even asked the question. You can see they're bringing in Niger Reed as an extra blocking back for Rabinold.
Now, when they went for it on 4th down last time, they did convert on that 4th down and 2 from their own 18. However, it was not the play I don't think they designed when it came out of the timeout.
No, I don't think it was, but this time I think they're going to be set up. But here they're putting Giovanni Hall back.
So 4th and 2 from the 48. Big play here, start of the third quarter. And it is indeed Hall trying to follow the block, pushing forward. His line's going to try to get him. The ball pops out. And fortunately, Allen comes up with it. Now they mark him right on that 1st down marker.
And I think Allen's going to be fortunate for that the fact that the ball did come out and then recovered by an Allen offensive player just past the 1st down marker.
So the Stroudsburg fans, this is twice that this has happened, Matt, and you can hear him. No measurement, and it looked like it was a 1st down, but after the hit and the ball popped out, you mentioned they get the ball and they end up getting a 1st down. So on 4th down, they're 2 for 2 on situations like that.
Correct, and I think it was a little shocking that we did not see Rabinold in the backfield on that play. Obviously, for obvious reasons, Coach Miller not happy with the call on the far sideline.
Yeah, there's still some discussion going on. So underway here in the third quarter. Now the discussion continues. And they're saying when the ball popped out, now the possession is retained by Allen, but it looked like it was backwards, unless they whistled the ball, which I don't think they did, for the 1st down before the ball popped out.
No, I didn't hear a whistle at all before the ball popped out.
So from the 48, looking to throw. near sideline, and that one is complete. You mentioned it before that number 14's got to come up and get the football because he has that size differential, and Darius King comes up with his 10th reception of the season, and he really made it look easy.
He did, and I think he had a position there. Marks put the ball out where the defender from Stroudsburg, Rodriguez, did not look back at all for the ball, and King does. He came back underneath, finds the ball, makes the catch, and there's no defense that's able to get the ball away because he's not looking for the ball.
So the 28-yard reception, Darius King to the 20-yard line. And Allen in business here with 8:41 on the clock on their opening possession of the third quarter. Marks out of the gun. Floats one out, Rabinall, and pushes forward. Gets across the 15 down to about the 14-yard line.
And the one thing Rabinall does that's very impressive is the first guy really never gets any contact on him. He eludes that first tackler and then able to pick up some extra yardage down the field. Coach Clay and the Canary offense and Canary team has to be happy with the way this half has started for them.
On the ground, Rabinall.
Still not finding any kind of running room for this rushing attack of William Allen. So look to see here on third down what Coach Clay dials up if he looks to put the ball in Mark's hands and use his receivers on the outside.
Solid opening drive by Allen. Matt, do you look over to the clock over there? I mean, they're taking a lot of time. You know, so far it's down to 7:10 here in the third quarter.
I think this is what Coach Clay wanted to do with the game as well. Shorten it up, keep Stroudsburg's offense off the field.
Marks pumps and now throws as a receiver wide open for a touchdown. Wide open touchdown into the hands of George Torres from 14 yards.
And that'll be Torres' second touchdown of the day. Just a little hitch and go. Marks pump fakes on the hitch. Torres spins to the outside, catches the defender off guard, and catches it 5 yards beyond him in the end zone for the touchdown. Well designed and well called play by the Canary coaching staff.
So it comes with 6:57 on the clock, 14 yards, Marks to Torres. Trying to cut the lead here to 6 by Giovanni Hall. High snap, and they fake it. Here's Hall. Hall tries to get to the outside, and they are going to convert. Wow. Well-run two-point conversion.
I'm going to say I'm sitting here thinking at some point, when do they go for a two-point conversion? They didn't need it, but this at least gives them an opportunity to put the game out of play, out of a field goal chance if they score again and they get another two-point conversion.
Well, you mentioned right when we started the third quarter that you expected interesting second half, and right now we do indeed have that.
And it's all about what the coaching staff did at halftime for adjustments. What are they able to do, and how were they able to combat? And we saw what William Allen's coaching staff did offensively to try to come out and spark their offense, because their offense, other than 2 drives, really had nothing going on in that first half, but they were able to come out and open up a real nice drive. Stroudsburg's defensive coaches didn't really make any kind of adjustments yet. We'll see what they're able to do, but we'll see what happens here on the flip side of it. Stroudsburg had a lot of success running the ball in the first half. They had a Rojas and Burrell able to do a lot of things down the field, getting a lot of empty space. See if the coaching staff of William Allen defensively can come out and see what they did to combat that. What are they going to do to slow that down and try to get their offense the ball back again quickly?
So Rojas with the 2 touchdowns, Marks with 2 touchdown passes, and Torres with 2 touchdown receptions so far as we're under 7 to play. And then the far side is Eric Rodriguez, and Rodriguez, and there's a flag. I'm not sure if that was a face mask. I guess it may be.
I think that's what they're going to be calling over there, because it definitely looked like they were inbounds when they hit them. If the near official was right there with the call. No flag.
this will get a roar from the crowd. So flag waved off. First down to start things off for Stroudsburg with 6:48 on the clock and a 20-15 game in favor of the Mountaineers.
And we expected Stroudsburg to come in and run the ball, which they have been doing. It's the passing game that I think kind of caught Allen off guard a little bit early in the first half, but then they settled in and able to get an interception.
They will attack the ground once again.
Another flag comes in.
We've seen Rojas, for the better part of this game, get positive yards every time he touched the football. Clock will stop here with 6:42 and an injured player. And Matt, next week we'll have a chance to be at Pocono Mountain West again for the Deer of Pocono Mountain West game. Interesting when you talk about the 6A classification, because 6A classification, teams that maybe expect to be winning are not winning right now, and teams that are not, maybe expecting to win are right in the mix. And that includes these two right here are in the mix. And, Deer, getting the win last night, they're right in the mix again. And, Pocono Mountain West, again, when you get that 2-3 wins, we have a game coming up in week 9, Whitehall and Liberty. Whitehall still looking for their first win. They play later tonight. And Liberty, came up tough loss last night to Emmaus 31-28. But at the same time, the Allen Canaries, you look at their schedules, what they've done. They lost opening week to Emmaus 62-33. They beat Pleasant Valley 41-7. They beat North 60-16. So they can produce the points. And, you see the playmakers that they do have. They lost a very, very tough game to Pocono Mountain West 35-18. That score really misleading. That game was really tight and back and forth. And then, last week the South is one of the, better teams, of course. You're losing 48-14. But they have East, Northampton, Nazareth, and Deerfield to end things off. So we'll see how they perform down the stretch.
And looking at the schedule, we have to see if they could pull out this win today against Stroudsburg. They have to be the favored team when they go up against Pocono Mountain East. Then after that, Northampton, that's going to be a toss-up. Northampton playing very well again this year under Coach Haas. The Nazareth game, they were probably going to be an underdog in that one. And then they have to come back and win it there. If you're looking at possibly a 5-win season, 5-5, will get them in the playoffs. 4-6 potentially could, but might not be as close.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, obviously there was another injured player here for Allen on the ground. And talk about the Stroudsburg Mountaineers and what they've done so far, this year. Stroudsburg has been interesting. We'll have a chance to see the team that they lost to in the opening night of the season. That was Central Catholic. They lost that game 21-7. But again, Central Catholic tonight, when we see them against Easton again live here, our D11sports.com game of the week, our night version on a Saturday night after this one. A good sign is walking to the sidelines. But then to North, they won 41-6. They beat West 23-21 in the nail-biter. They lost to East Stroudsburg South 21-0. They came right back last week with that victory against Pocono Mountain East. Again, they will take on Northampton. That's why this game is so important as well, because Northampton's playing lights out. They're playing really well. Then they get Northampton, Parkland, Deerfield, and Pleasant Valley. So they have a little stretch there that this game will be huge for them moving forward as well. On the handoff again to Rojas. You mentioned you want to control the games that you can win, and then if the other ones come to you, those are the bonus ones. But this is a huge, huge game really for both teams.
I think it's almost, for Stroudsburg, it's more of a must-win than it is for Allen. I think Allen can still work their way back with a little bit of the schedule they have, but when you compare those two schedules, I think you have to tip to the fact that Stroudsburg might have a little bit more of a challenge moving forward than Allen does.
3rd down 8, the ball at the 19-yard line. On the ground they go, on the handoff to Wayne Hamilton, and Hamilton just breaks through, and he will get the first down. They needed 18, and he got, I think, 18 1/4 for the first down.
And we'll see if they decide to bring, no measurement again.
First and 10 for the Mountaineers at their own 37.
So that time getting the ball to somebody other than Rojas and Burrell. Hamilton on a little inside reverse, picking up the yardage necessary for the first down.
On the ground they go once again, Rojas. And he is driven down after about a 2.5-yard pickup.
And so far early on in this drive, the William Allen defense doing a much better job versus Rojas and Burrell on their rushing attack. Keeping contained, not letting them get to the edge, not letting them get outside, and allowing the rest of their teammates to come in and make tackles.
So 4:35 and counting here in the third quarter. Allen with the touchdown from Marks to George Torres, a 2-point conversion on Hall after they were looking to go for the extra point. Came at the 6:57 mark, and it's a 5-point game here from their own 40. And you got to give credit to the offensive line, really for both teams. You know, you're seeing these running backs drive into, the line, but Rojas there gains an extra 3.5 yards and gets another first down because of it, and that's the help of his line pushing him forward.
Exactly, and I think as we just stated, the fact that Allen is really keying in on Rojas and kind of tightening up against that rushing attack, that offensive line is what's allowing him to get some extra yardage and pick up these from a 3-yard gain to a 6-7-yard gain. And without that offensive line, he's not able to do that, especially with the fact of the coaching adjustments made by the Allen defense coming into this half.
A high snap. The ball got loose there, and I think it did. Allen says they have it, they do. So the ball on a high snap and a huge turnover, and that's really been the talk of the game for both teams. And coming out of that pile was Niger Reed.
I think that's one of the things you see, especially you don't want to put all the blame on backup quarterback, but if you get the bad snap first, he's a little bit not as comfortable with the handoffs and getting the ball to the running back, so now you're changing all that timing up, and it's just magnified much worse than what it originally was. He was getting the balls just there for the handoffs earlier. This time, Allen able to come up with a takeaway, see if they can capitalize now.
On the run, nowhere to go by Ravenall.
And it's almost been the way the game has been going for Allen on offense. First down has not been very successful for them. They've gained 2, maybe 3, if they have. Other than that, it's usually been third down as the down that they've been really successful. Obviously, fourth down, they went for it twice, converted both. So it's later in the series, later in the drives on the downs where they've had their most success.
So 2nd down and 8, the ball right at the 45-yard line. Nothing there on the dive forward by Hall. And it puts you in a 3rd down situation.
Hall gets tripped up by number 35 for Stroudsburg, Kyle Davis, the outside linebacker, who's the one coming in unblocked. And Hall tries to elude his tackle, but not able to just get out of his hands.
So 3rd down and 6, slow coming out of the huddle here, Allen. Looking to throw once again is Marks. Marks waits, pumps, and now he's just got to run with the football, and he gets taken down. So he's looking downfield, and that has been open tonight. And now, so Matt, they've gone for it on all 4th downs so far. I said all, there was only 2, but they were 2 big 4th downs. But this is interesting because now it's 20-15, but they're driving, and I think you have these opportunities, and Coach Clay has been aggressive this entire game, and he's going to stay with his offense once again, not a surprise.
And I think they have to go for it. Coach Clay has to put the the impression to his team that I have confidence in our defense that we're going to stop Stroudsburg, and we're just going to continue to move the ball offensively. I think this is a good call for him early in the second half.
From the 48. And the pass play is complete. Great catch there by Darius King. Moved the chains on the fourth down. So 3 for 3 on fourth down. And that's pretty productive.
It is, and that time you have to credit the offensive line. Right tackle, Trevon Guinar. Right guard, Ricardo Mendez. Center, Joseph Morales-Kinsell. Left guard, Johnny Williams. And left tackle, Yvonne Nieves-Harris. The protection they were able to give Marks to allow him to find his receiver and King on the outside was just phenomenal.
Marks to throw, far side, has a receiver just off the fingertips of George Torres. A perfectly passed ball just at the extension of his hands, just missed off the fingertips.
And when that ball originally left his hands, I thought it had no chance at all. And Torres just turned it on, able to run underneath it and nearly bring that in.
Are you saying his speed was a little bit better than mine?
Absolutely, a little bit.
Just checking, I just want to verify.
Although you did very well in the marathon, you did.
Thank you. Well, let's call it the half for this one. I've only done one marathon. That was New York. That was 2003. I'll stay with the half marathons, all right? That's what I'll stick at.
A marathon is a marathon. If you run any race that has the word marathon tied behind it, that's impressive.
Second down and 10. The ball to 28. Here comes the rush. Gets hit as he's thrown. Ravenel makes the catch, and then the ball is loose, and Stroudsburg comes up with it. So Ravenel made the catch, pushed forward.
It's just a game of turnovers right now in the second half, but nobody has been able to capitalize on any of the turnovers that they've gotten.
Didn't check a number on that for the fumble recovery, but either way, they get the ball to 25. And it comes with 39 seconds on the clock. So both teams with fumbles here. Driving through up towards the 30-yard line. And likely, they may run one more play here in the third quarter. A very quick-moving third quarter. In a game that's really tight now, 20-15. And it was 20-0 at one point.
And it looks like it's going to be the last play of the quarter.
Yep, so 3 complete and 1 to go. We'll be back with the fourth quarter. Your D11sports.com game of the week presented by St. Luke's Sports Medicine. 2015, Stroudsburg in the lead. Back after this.
Are you searching for a place where you belong? Where your fitness matters? Regardless of what shape you're in, St. Luke's Fitness and Sports Performance Centers have a professional team that will help you meet or exceed your fitness goals. With locations throughout the region and nationally recognized fitness experts, you'll become a member of a supportive fitness community. We call it Extraordinary Fitness. Visit us online to start your free 7-day membership and let us help you thrive.
20-15 is your score as we welcome you back here to J. Bernie Crum Stadium in Allentown. Aldi Carlo, Matt Evancho, Melissa Fatzinger, Peter Capote with you here from J. Bernie Crum. We'll be here for 2 games, and if you're watching us here on the live stream right now, we'll be back at it, Central Catholic and Easton. That game, a 7:30 start, so they can clear traffic out of here and bring in the contingent from Easton and from Central Catholic, and we expect a great game. Speaking of a very good game right now, when it comes to the score, obviously there's been some turnovers, Matt, but you have a 20-15 game, and we're starting the fourth quarter.
And for William Allen, you have to be happy you came out with that opening offensive drive, able to get down and score the touchdown. Then they tighten up on defense. They've caused some turnovers, get the stops that they needed to on Rojas, especially you see right here again out of number 52 for William Allen, Carlos Morales. It's what they've been able to do defensively, I think, that's been the most impressive. They kind of stalled out a little bit offensively in that last drive, but Stroudsburg needs to get their life going again. I think they've kind of just fallen off a little bit. They lost that momentum and the energy they had earlier in the game.
So you mentioned Rojas. He's dinged up on the field. They'll take a look at him. And we had that opportunity. Some interesting games last night as well. The big game, one of the big games was, Nazareth and Parkland, and Parkland handing Nazareth their first loss. And you look at a Parkland team, and we see this every time. They were dinged up. They'll be fine, as you get, closer. And Tim Monsman, I talked to him last week after the victory against Liberty, and, he knows, little by little, you start getting fresh legs in there and fresh players in there. Change the quarterback, and, they're going to be in the mix. Nazareth has played tremendous, under head coach Tom Falzone. So, they've been, I say the surprise, but I don't know if everyone thought that they were going to be leading the pack, going into week 6.
I think coming in, everybody in Lehigh Valley did believe in the Nazareth offense and what they were going to be able to do with Anthony Harris and Stefanik. It was their defense that I think came up bigger than they thought early in the season. But as every coach knows, you do not win any kind of championship in the first half of the season. You don't win any championship in the second. It's the whole season together, and it's tough to get these teenagers to buy into 10 straight grueling weeks, and especially when you look at the 2 leagues we have in the area, actually 3, the EPC, the Colonial League, and the Schuylkill League. You have 3 leagues where you have to be on every single week, and it's a challenge. I mean, we saw it last week with Notre Dame. They went up against Salisbury, who Salisbury is having a great season. Salisbury knocks off Notre Dame, who was the favorite going into that game. It's just you're working with teenagers. To keep them locked in for 10 weeks is a challenge in itself. And then you put coaching football on top of that. Mm-hmm. So you have so many things going in. And I know Coach Falzone, I've coached against him for quite a few games. He's going to have that team ready to go next week, and they're going to get back on track, and they're going to be there in the playoffs. And I hear a lot of people talking about, like you said, Parkland, they're getting fresh. Freedom, they're going to be back around. Then you have Easton. I think we're up for a fantastic second half of the season.
No doubt. 3rd and 6 from the 28. And try to change things up. But how about the Allen team right now? The Canaries defense stepping up on, in this one as, the carry there by Wayne Hamilton, but not much there at all, and brings up the 4th down and the punting unit.
And we saw some great punting by Santamini early in the game. See if he can do it again. He has the wind at his back a little bit. Try to get the field position going the other way, because right now Stroudsburg is losing this momentum.
Leo Santamini set the punt.
Leo Santamini.
I'm going to venture a guess that that's an Italian name.
That is, and I had to make sure that it was not Leo, but it's Leo, and I was correct. Just want to point that out as well. And with that on the snap, this is going to be a false start here on Stroudsburg, moving back a little further. So right now the momentum is swinging towards Allen Canaries, and if you're Stroudsburg and head coach Jim Miller, trying to get the wake-up call to your team and saying, hey, there's a lot of time left in this game. They got to regroup.
Exactly, and I misspoke earlier with the 2-point conversion of Allen. What it does for them is now it takes the extra point out of the equation. They score a touchdown, they're leading the game. If they didn't go for 2 and they score a touchdown, they still have to make that extra point. Not that they might not, but anything can happen. So this puts them in a position where all they need to do is score a touchdown.
Santamini with another huge boot. Fair catch is called right at the 40-yard line by George Torres.
And I like that fair catch call by Torres. He did have a little running room, but it shows a lot of maturity that, hey, look at the situation. 10 minutes left in the 4th quarter. We're getting the ball back. We have a lot of momentum. We potentially could go down, set the offense up, score, go up and take the lead for the first time today. A lot of maturity there, not to try to do too much and take it in his own hands. You trust his teammates that the offense is going to come out and do their job.
So 10:18 on the clock, 20-15 is your score. And the Allen Canaries take over here. And here's Hall. And Hall trying to cut up field, but all white jerseys there waiting for him.
You have to credit the Stroudsburg coaching staff and their defense. They're not giving up anything to this William Allen rushing attack. They're showing it play after play. So Allen knows, and Coach Clay's got to know, he's going to have to come up with some way to get Marks in a rhythm and allow him to come out and beat them throwing the ball.
Inside 10 minutes to play. 20-15 against a double dip. We'll take a little break and then come back at 7:30 for a huge matchup between Central Catholic and Easton from J. Bernie Crum Stadium in Allentown. Allen just taking their time here. They got 3 receivers lined up to the near side, 1 up top. Rabinold in the backfield. And they're going to flare one, and that one's intercepted. A great look and a pick by Benjamin Sweeney, and Sweeney read that all the way down to the 2-yard line. They'll make it to 3.
As you said, well read by Sweeney. One of those defensive backs in there new this week, coming up with a huge play for Stroudsburg. Just want to say for the record, that was going to be a double pass. They were throwing it out to Torres, and they had Hall streaking down the field uncovered. No one was within 20 yards of him, but that's all a moot point right now as Sweeney comes up with the interception.
And that's the biggest play of the game. And you're right. You know, you're going one way to maybe take the lead, and now all of a sudden it could be a 2-touchdown advantage coming the other way. So great job by Benjamin Sweeney.
And just like that with the turnover, you have a little confusion with personnel, so Coach Miller smartly takes a timeout, get his team regrouped, and set up for this drive starting on the 3.
And Stroudsburg obviously wants to get things, their players in position. They, want to add to their touchdown lead and see if they can, continue on their pace here and add it. But, man, the turnovers have been killers really for both teams. You put them in a position where, they're really hurt at the toughest times, and that being one of them right there, but none bigger than that one right there on the turnover.
Correct. And let's point out also, on our roster, Sweeney listed as a kicker. Listed as a kicker in playing secondary, probably makes what could arguably be the play of the game.
Well, no question about that. So East Bend Conference standings, again, this is coming into last night, so some more victories. Stroudsburg, with the victory, Northampton, they've been playing really well. And, Stroudsburg's right there, again, battling for that North Division crown. That's where they want to stay put if they can. Nazareth gets the loss. They go to 4-1. Easton plays today. And touchdown by Rojas. So for Rojas, that's 3 touchdowns for him on the night. This one from 3 yards.
And once again, the Stroudsburg offense, after a turnover, scoring quickly on one play. That time, obviously, on a short field at 3 yards out. But now it will be interesting to see how William Allen regroups, tries to shake off that turnover, come back and get things going. Still have 9 minutes to go, still have a lot of time, but probably see Allen come back and start throwing the ball downfield a little bit more.
So with 9:13 on the clock, they go back up by 12. And is that enough? Still so much time.
We talk about how, coaches try to motivate teenagers and get them, locked in for week after week. Here's one of those moments, the life lessons that football and a lot of sports helps teach. You had everything going your way, and then all of a sudden you get cut short on something, and now you have to turn back around. You have to get yourself refocused, remotivated to move forward. These are the moments that kind of build the character in these high school athletes that's so important. That's why I love coaching, that you have that ability to do that. Try to get them, because in life they're going to face adversity. They're going to face setbacks, and it's always going to be not what the setback is and not what you did before the setback, but what you do after and who you become because of it.
Well said, and the Stroudsburg band trying to get their fans wound up.
And how about the Stroudsburg band at halftime with the electric guitars rocking out?
They had it going on.
That was nice.
You were dancing up here,
I don't dance. That's one thing that never happens.
I never saw those moves before.
That's because there were none.
Giovanni Hall straight through the defense. Hall still on his feet, breaks the tackle, and there goes Hall. And Hall going to put on the steamers, and he is going to go in for the touchdown. Giovanni Hall, ensuing kickoff.
No flag on the field. I was looking for that to make sure there was no flag, and look at that. Looked like he caught the ball maybe around the 10, somewhere between the 10 and the 15. So you're looking like an 85, 90-yard touchdown return. Great turnaround for William Allen. And just like that, you're right back in it. Looks like Allen's going to put their offense on the field to go for 2 again.
This one's entertaining, without question. They're
Absolutely.
big plays. You know, Allen taking a lot of time here, though, at the same time. And if they're going to go for it. So Gio Hall goes 90 yards for the touchdown. And now looking to convert on the two-point conversion once again. Marks out of the gun, Ravenel in the backfield. Marks has time to throw, and that one is taken away. So they won't convert, as taking that one away was Connor Smith.
And what a great interception by him. He reaches back, is thrown behind him. They had a William Allen receiver coming free right behind him, and he just reaches back and able to get enough of it to get the interception. But as you said, what a turnaround. Just as we were talking about coming back from adversity, you know, Allen comes back and just matches that turnover with their own touchdown. Now it's going to be up to their defense. Can their defense make a stand and make a stop, get the ball back? Just like that, we were just mentioning, a little over 9 minutes, and they had to score twice. Now we're at 9 minutes.
Yeah, it was at 9:17. Sweeney had the interception down to the Allen 3. The play later, they scored at the 9:13 mark on a 3-yard touchdown run by Dimitri Rojas, his third. And then here, you know, 13 seconds later, that's how long it took Hall to go weaving through traffic and go 90 yards. And that's where we're at, 27-21. So a heck of a game here, you know, still tight.
And not to mention, you know, usually you see the kickoff returns. You typically see ones where they're untouched. Hall had to break 3 tackles on that kickoff return, nearly went down around the 50, but able to show real good balance and get himself back up and finish it off for the touchdown.
So looking to kick off. And it's fielded at, or is it? Never fielded. Now it's picked up at the 21-yard line. And finally taken down was Rodriguez, but that was dangerous for Rodriguez. Skipped off his knees.
Game is full of momentum changes and momentum shifts. And let's talk about the fact of we had 23 seconds. And the momentum shifted from Allen driving, Stroudsburg intercepting touchdown, Allen coming back with a touchdown of their own, and then almost coming up with a fumble recovery off the kickoff.
Yep, maybe game out of reach, but instead it's not. So now Stroudsburg takes over with 8:54 on the clock, and a whistle and a flag.
Looks like we'll get a false start versus Stroudsburg. Not the start that they wanted on this drive. Coach Miller's going to have to just continue to rely on, I think, Rojas in his rushing attack and just keep feeding him the ball and just ride him till the end.
First and 15 for the Mountaineers at their own 18.
So 8:52, first and 15, 27-21. On the ground they go. And some space. Pushing through. And Rojas had a terrific game to this point. And limping and now going down is an Allen football player, and that's DeVere Collymore, 5'9", 253-pound junior. Try to walk it off, and not sure if he cramped up there or not.
Yeah, just not able to walk that off. This is going to be the test, I think, in these last 8.5 minutes. As you mentioned earlier, we were talking about the weather, just unseasonably warm today. I think this is going to be the key coming into this next 8.5 minutes, as I said. Who's in better shape? Who's more well-conditioned to finish this game off? Because I think it's going to be a matter of who tires out first. Both teams are pushing each other to the limit. If whoever can, at this point, kind of push the other over the line, I think that's going to be the key to the rest of this game.
So breaking the action here, 27-21. And if you're just joining us, boy, it's been quite a recap because there's been a lot of turnovers. teams have taken advantage. Brandon Burrell with the interception went 50-plus yards to the 18. That was in the first quarter. It led on the next play. You talked about this before. On the next play, and a couple of times for Stroudsburg, an 18-yard touchdown by Dimitri Rojas made it 7-0. That was your score after 1 quarter of play. Second quarter, 18-yard touchdown by Rojas, his second touchdown of the game. That came at the 58 seconds in to make it 13-0. Then from there, Allen fumbled on the snap. It actually hit Hall as he was passing through. Stroudsburg had first down and 10 from the 28. It led on the next play, a 28-yard touchdown from Brady Boback to Eric Rodriguez. And Stroudsburg really cruising at that point. 20-0 was the score. From there, at the 8:24 mark, Jonathan Marks to George Torres, 52 yards for the touchdown. That made it 20-7. And then a 101-yard interception return by Edgar Caraballo was called back. And we got to talk about that one because that was a huge play for them. And just so he gets credit for the run back, he did run it back, but they called it back. End up 4th down and 2 from the 18. Allen went for it. They ended up getting it.
Well, that's true, Al. You talk about that. You didn't even think about it, the fact that they ended up not scoring on that drive. You take that touchdown and say it stands. We're at 28-27 right now.
Yep. 55-yard reception, Giovanni Hall to the 21. But then, while Allen was driving, a crucial turnover as they got hit. It did Marks, gave up the football, and Christian Abuja took it at the 35. Stalled drive, 20-7 at the half. Third quarter, 14-yard touchdown from Marks to Torres. 2-point conversion from Hall. Made it 20-15 in favor of Stroudsburg. Here they go to Burrell on the ground, and Burrell tries to bust a turn, and he will. And Burrell will get the first down and more, finally driven out of bounds at the 43-yard line.
And yet that time you credit Dimitri Rojas with the block on the outside. He became the lead blocker for Burrell, along with Hamilton, number 43, getting the edge for Stroudsburg to spring him for that first down.
So 8:19 on the clock, 27-21 is your score. We'll continue with scoring recap after this play. From the 43 on the reverse. And some space, and the first down, still powering through defenders is Wayne Hamilton. So Hamilton and the touches that he has had has been very, very effective.
He has. They came in with an inside reverse again to Hamilton. Allen defenders were in position to make a play, but just not able to close down quick enough to make the tackle before he picks up the big gain.
So Stroudsburg in business, the ball down to the 40. You start looking at the clock. Allen has 3 timeouts. Stroudsburg has 2 timeouts. We're at the 8-minute mark with Stroudsburg driving. Najir Reed had a fumble recovery. Stroudsburg 47. Then on the other side, fumble recovery for Stroudsburg at its own 25. They remained 20-15 as we got to the 4th. Ben Sweeney had a huge INT down to the Allen 3 that led on the next play to Rojas' 3rd touchdown from 3 yards to make it 27-15, up by 12. Here's Rojas again on the carry. They try to strip the ball away, can't get it. He gets inside the 37-yard line. Then on the ensuing kickoff, Gio Hall raced through defenders and goes 90 yards for the score. There is some flags here.
And this is going to be a costly mistake on Stroudsburg. Going to be a personal foul against Stroudsburg after the play, dead ball, so the down will count.
So Hall went 90 yards for the touchdown. They missed a 2-point conversion as it was intercepted by Connor Smith. 27-21, and that's where we stand right now. 27-21 Stroudsburg. They were driving, got the ball down to the 34, but because of this penalty, that moves them all the way back to their own 47-yard line.
15-yard penalty assessed against the Mountaineers. Ball moves back to their own 47.
And just as Stroudsburg was driving, making some good progress there, loses a lot of ground. Now it's 3rd and long. The situation where Allen defense wants to put Stroudsburg in.
Third down, very long. The ball is juggled and taken out. It looked like Allen came up with the football. They say no, Stroudsburg had it. Boy, there was a lot of blue jerseys there. and they're still fighting under the pile. And they said, don't worry about it. You already got it. They said, we got the football. You know, when you get underneath that pile and you're fighting for it, I really thought Allen had it. Wow,
Allen had every opportunity to pick that up, but credit Dimitri Rojas with picking that up and able to recover that. And not only just not to give up the turnover, but it allows Stroudsburg to put their punt team out on the field and push them at least 40 yards down the field the other way and make them work for this next touchdown.
So 4th down, they will get, excuse me, the football back. Sorry about that.
And we have to think they're not going to kick to Giovanni Hall.
Well, George Torres has a couple touchdowns in himself. That's a high snap. And it'll be Torres. Torres is going to let this roll, and this will, fortunately for Allen and not fortunately for Stroudsburg, goes into the end zone. Stroudsburg got that close to getting that ball down at the 1 yard line, but they couldn't get it.
And it looked like, as Torres was trying to field that punt, I don't think he was able to pick it up in the sky, looking kind of directly into the sunlight.
I think that was Matthew Jabruza, and he comes up hobbling after trying to dive for that play at the 1 yard line. So if you're Allen, and you always ask, you always say these in games like this, is you're given the opportunity. You have the opportunity to at least take the lead with a touchdown, and it's in your hands here.
Exactly. We talked just a little bit ago about the life lessons. That's all you want to do is just give yourself an opportunity at any time in anything you're doing.
They'll start from the 20, and they will go on the ground. And busting outside is Hall, and right when he does, he gets hit by a couple of defenders and gets taken down. A couple of guys in there. First guy was Christian Abuja.
There's just not any kind of running room, as we stated over. I hate to be a broken record. Just they're not finding any kind of space at all.
Looking to throw, flushed out, and gets hit hard, but pushes him forward to the 25-yard line, so a manageable 3rd down. Matt, now I ask you this question. There's 5:25 on the clock. It's winding down. You had the opportunity here. You have 3 timeouts. Is this 4-down territory? It's been all game, but if you don't get it here, are you punting the ball away to try to get the ball back, or do you have to go here?
I think at this point you do punt the ball back, because with those 3 timeouts, you do, as long as you put your defense out there and you make the stops that you need, you give yourself an opportunity again to get the ball back. However, that's not what you wanted to do if you're Allen. It's create a penalty, putting you back further.
So inside 5 minutes, and the costly penalty.
And not only do you lose those 5 yards, but now you just cost yourself more time with the clock continuing to run.
So the ball sits down at the 20-yard line. So the Canaries down by the score of 27-21. There's 4:35 and counting here in the 4th. The ball sits at the 20. Rabinald motion to the far side, looking to throw. Nothing there. Marks looks now to the sideline, and that one incomplete. And we'll bring up 4th down, and yes, indeed, here comes the punting unit. I don't think you have a choice here.
No, I think
you're very much in the game.
Away.
Yep.
And unfortunately, you'll see coming off was Torres for Allen. He was open, and Marks just missed him on the other side of the field behind the secondary.
That snap took a while, and it goes off the side of the foot of Edgar Caraballo, and because of that, Stroudsburg has the ball at the 14-yard line. That ball really came back real slow on the snap, and just disaster here for the Canaries. And if you're Stroudsburg, you have a chance to put this game away with the short field. Very short field.
And I think we're going to see nothing but a rushing attack out of Rojas and Burrell for Stroudsburg to try to close out this game.
Football first and 10 at the Canaries 14.
From the 14-yard line. And on the handoff, that's Rojas. Amir Bryant in at quarterback. Oh, excuse me, Ethan Sodal in at quarterback, the sophomore at 5'10", 180. And now coming back into the game is Brady Boback. So the ball down to the 6-yard line.
And it looks like Stroudsburg is really going to take their time changing personnel, getting the play set up in no hurry.
From the 8-yard line. Soto remains in there. And tripped up immediately on the play is Rojas.
And for Stroudsburg, really, you're in no hurry, number one. As you're nearing a first down, they're going to look at this. So you got the first down, so you're in no hurry at all. Even if you don't get the touchdown, you're winding down that clock, and then Allen has to go over 95 yards for a touchdown to come up with a win.
That's correct. So the ball moves a little closer down to the 4-yard line. From the 4, Rojas, and he will go in for the touchdown. So the 4-yard touchdown by Rojas, that is number 4 of the day for him, right, Matt?
I believe it is, yes. Little bit of extra action going on from a Stroudsburg lineman. But for Stroudsburg, that's exactly what you wanted to do. You're trying to come in and close out the game with a win.
Going after successful. With 3 minutes and 3 seconds to go in Big 10 Conference football.
So after the turnover, Stroudsburg able to finish off that drive, going in short yards, go up 34-21 with just over 3 minutes left in the game. So over the next 2 weeks, if Stroudsburg holds on here 34-21 with just over 3 minutes left, Al, would go ahead. You pencil them in at 4-2 now. Next week they have Northampton at home. Then they're at Parkland the next week. The Northampton game, I think, becomes very important then, because that will move them up not only in district rankings but also in the the EPC North. It'll move them up in the rankings. Then they have Deera 3 weeks away, and then they close out at Pleasant Valley. So Coach Miller can really take this team who, kind of was going up and down in the early parts of the season, can now start to settle in and try to push some things forward in the second half of the season. Depending on what happens, you have to think this will be the last chance Allen has with the ball offensively. Going to put the ball in the air, you would think most of the plays under 3 minutes with 3 timeouts, they can still get down the field, and we've seen them that they can get down the field quickly just a matter of them capitalizing and finishing.
So 2:58 on the clock. Allen with a must score here. Down by the score of 34-21. Now you start seeing a little more air attack. You know, they have the receivers if they can get open, and they're going to look downfield, and there's a receiver open. That should be a flag. Matt, shocked that wasn't a flag. It looked like he got pushed in the back on that throw.
I thought for sure we're going to see a flag come in. You know, the Allen coaching staff not happy with that non-call. It was Stroudsburg's Terrence Jewell coming over top, just tangling feet with Giovanni Hall. And Marks had Hall. He, I think, maybe just put a little too much air under the ball.
Second down 10. Has time and has a receiver, and two Stroudsburg players collide. When you're going on 1-on-3 coverage, maybe not the best thing, but almost an INT there by Terrence Jewell.
And down for Stroudsburg is number 11, who had the big interception earlier in his half, Benjamin Sweeney.
Yeah, a couple of those players got tangled up and kind of spun around a little bit, Matt, and they're being attended to by the St. Luke's sports medicine staff. And speaking of St. Luke's, we want to thank them for their sponsorship and their partnership with us here at D11sports.com and making these games possible for us, and you know, doing a great job each and every time. We appreciate their efforts. John Hoth has been tremendous with us, and you know, the students geared up with their gear today. No pun intended, geared up in gear, is that? But they have everything there, and really just trying to make a difference in a new platform that we're performing at D11sports.com. We're up to 35 student reporters in over 14, 15 schools. So we're asking for more students to get involved, see your athletic director, and if you want to jump on board, now's the time to jump on board to be part of a new team and a new vision of covering high school sports.
And I think what we're going to see is, as we go over the years, this is actually just going to grow and continue to grow bigger and bigger as we help out these students. And basically, I guess we can call them student athletes because they're at sporting contests, become journalists and reporters, and help them potentially see a new career that out in front of them that they may not have imagined previously.
So time's becoming a factor, though there is some time because they have 3 timeouts left as the clock stops at 2:38.
And you're going to see Stroudsburg defensively just try to keep everything in front of them. They're going to let Allen complete those passes short and then just come up and try to secure the tackle. They just don't want to allow Allen to any quick scoring plays or quick long plays.
(34-21) your score if you're just joining us here on a Saturday afternoon. Back at it with Central and Easton at 7:30. Well, I was going to say he had time to throw, and then he moved back. And when he did, I think it's still Allen's football. He just went into some white jerseys as he got, popped on the play. And Juwan Little was one of the guys that put on the stick.
And I think Allen's fortunate to get that called back because I do believe Marks lost the ball as he was going down. But as you stated earlier, these plays it's taking time off the clock. Just going under 2 minutes right now. Doesn't look like Allen's in any kind of hurry to get this going to try to get on the board again.
Looking to throw, trying to go to the far sideline, nothing there. And now we'll put it up again in double coverage, and that one's intercepted. So picked off at the 35-yard line and moving his way upfield inside the 30. And still upfield and won't get the touchdown, but a great run back. I believe it was Terrence Jewell.
And this is not what you want to see if you're Allen, as You both have Rabinold, he's just getting up slow, but you have Marks down on the ground on the far side holding his arm.
Knocked out of bounds by Zeke Rabinold.
Definitely not the injury you want to see at any bit happen here for Allen.
You mentioned the schedule for Stroudsburg, but the schedule for Allen, interesting as well, knowing that they have East coming up next week.
And when you take a look at that, think what's going to happen here. They're going to go down 2-4. They have East next week. They must win that one. I think they have to come out of that one with a win, and then I think they have to look at Deerfield at the end of the season as another one where they have to be right in the mix for a win. Then they have after East, they're at Northampton. That's going to be a tall task for them. Not that they can't do it, but you have to figure Northampton will be favored in that game. And then they also have Nazareth after that, and I think that's going to be a challenge for the Canaries. So looking at what they can do, if they can pull a win off against East next week, and then looking at the end of the season, if they can pull a win against Deer, if they're looking 4-6, I think that puts them in the district playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So the one positive thing coming off here, if you look at if Marks is indeed injured and what happened to him, it's at least not his right arm. It's not his throwing arm. So that's a positive thing for Allen. Just, again, look to see what they can do. Can we regroup and get ready for that and get healthy and stay healthy and get ready for that game against Pocono Mountain East next week?
So after the interception by Terrence Jewell, there's been a lot of turnovers in this game. To the 4-yard line. Rojas again in the backfield. He's got 4 touchdowns. And as I say that, I think Allen had too many players.
Yeah, Allen had too many players on the field, so instead of getting the penalty, the coaching staff takes the timeout, get their team regrouped. And based on looking at this, based on what the Allen offense was looking to do there and the speed and the pace at which they were going, surprised Coach Miller's not having his team go out there and just take a knee, try to run this last minute, 28 seconds off the clock. Because I don't think, other than this timeout right here, I don't think we'll see Allen utilize the rest of their timeouts to try to stop the clock.
So Allen again, I look at this game with Allen very much in it back and forth, and you look at the Pocono Mountain West game, they lost 35-18, this one 34-21. They were in that game as well, and trying to finish down the stretch, but you could tell you could see the improvement from George Clay's team, that they're not just a team that's just going to fall over. They're a team that has a lot of tough players and the chance, they're that close in this one, but the difference in this game, when you think about it, besides the turnovers, that's the one that killed you, is Dimitri Rojas, with the 4 rushing touchdowns here from the 4. And they'll give him another opportunity, and Rojas will push forward, and he'll get down to about the 2-yard line. And staying in the game is Ethan Sodal, number 2.
And I think this is where we'll see what Coach Miller decides to do. He sees that Allen will not call a timeout, so I think we'll see them take a knee the next play.
Dimitri Rojas up the middle. Short gain on the play.
So Rojas with a productive night, or productive day, I should say, with 4 rushing touchdowns. And, he came in with 422. He's up above 600 now on the season, and now has 9 touchdowns on the year. So 2nd down and goal. And Rojas will go in for the touchdown.
Number 26, Dimitri Rojas.
And in one day, Dimitri Rojas has scored as many touchdowns as he had in the previous 5 weeks. So a very productive day for him.
So it comes with 37 seconds on the clock. They have to go for the touchdown there. And the extra point attempt here by Leo Santamino. And Santamini has it in for the touchdown. That increases the lead to 41-21. Again, Matt, those not watching the game say, oh, well, Stroudsburg cruised in this one. But those watching the game and those watching a replay a little later on will notice that this was much closer than that 41-21 game.
Oh, absolutely. And when you think about it, it was 27-21. Allen just got the ball back, ready to drive down with, I believe, like 7, 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. They're getting the ball back to drive for the winning touchdown. And it was just a turn of events with a couple mistakes here and there that Stroudsburg capitalized on. The one was the interception by Sweeney, and then just playing defense, and then the interception by Jewell. So I mentioned before about taking that knee for Stroudsburg, because I think one of the things I'd look to do is you don't have to put your kickoff team back out on the field. You don't have to risk any kind of injury to anybody. I mean, you're looking at this. I'm seeing on the Stroudsburg kickoff team, there's 4 to 5 players that are on their starting defense right now. And the amount of injuries they have, that's not something you want to compound by making them take unnecessary plays that they didn't have to.
And they'll probably have to take one more snap here. Will Allen.
Geo Hall stopped by Nathan Voorhees. First and 10 Allen.
So a 4-yard touchdown run by Dimitri Rojas. His 4th touchdown of the game came at the 3:03 mark after a Terrence Jewell INT to the 4-yard line led to a 2-yard touchdown by Rojas. 5 rushing touchdowns. And he, of course, will be our The11sports.com player of the game after his productivity. So 1 snap here likely, unless something happens. And put this game in the books. And you talk about that North Division crown also. This will put Stroudsburg at 4-1 and 4-2 overall. You mentioned the game against Northampton. That game against Northampton is big when it comes to a division title because, between Northampton and East Stroudsburg South, they're on the top of the table.
Exactly. And I think Stroudsburg, if they can get healthy again and get all their players back, they have the talent and they have the ability to go out and make that run that they need to challenge Northampton, to challenge East Stroudsburg South for that North crown.
So final 9 seconds of this one. 41-21. It's Stroudsburg getting the victory as they improve to 4-1, 4-2 overall. Allen drops to 2-3 and 2-4 overall. We'll take a quick break and be back with the interview with the player of the game. When we come back, our D11sports.com Game of the Week presented by St. Luke's Sports Medicine. 41-21 is your final. Back after this.
St. Luke's Orthopedic Care. Extraordinary care in motion.
Concussions are serious. 3 million sport, recreation, and auto accident-related concussions happen each year. 20% of high school athletes who play contact sports will suffer a concussion during the season. St. Luke's is the region's leader in assessing, managing, and treating concussions in athletes and non-athletes of all ages. Our multi-specialty teams of experts collaborate to care for you using the latest treatment options. Don't play head games, take concussion seriously. Call St. Luke's to schedule an appointment with one of our concussion experts. searching for a place where you belong? Where your fitness matters? Regardless of what shape you're in, St. Luke's Fitness and Sports Performance Centers have a professional team that will help you meet or exceed your fitness goals. With locations throughout the region and nationally recognized fitness experts, you'll become a member of a supportive fitness community. We call it Extraordinary Fitness. Visit us online to start your free 7-day membership and let us help you thrive.
Hall of Fame pitcher Steve Carlton knows what it takes to exceed expectations. He knows what it means to be part of a team that rises above the competition. He knows a champion. Steve Carlton knows St. Luke's Orthopedic Care.
So you're hurting. Is it your back or your knee? That old football injury? Get the rehabilitation you need. In most cases, you won't need a script from your doctor. In Pennsylvania and New Jersey, a law called Direct Access lets you see a physical therapist without a prescription. And if your insurance requires a prescription, physical therapy at St. Luke's will work with your doctor to get you the care you need that is covered. Let us speed up your recovery. We're in your neighborhood. Call Physical Therapy at St. Luke's.
(41-21) is your final score as we welcome you back here atop J. Bernie Crum Stadium in Allentown. Carlo, Matt Evancho. Hope you enjoyed this one as the first of two. We'll have Central Catholic and Easton coming up a little bit later on. But, Matt, you look at this matchup, and it was really back and forth. A lot of turnovers in this contest, and the opportunity was there for both teams. And Stroudsburg came to play today, and they got the better end of Allen.
And we were talking about the momentum, and as you said, it was mistakes with turnovers. It was mistakes with some penalties. But then it was, as Allen was starting to turn it around, and we were wondering, where was Stroudsburg going to get that extra boost? Where were they going to get that energy from? And it came from the defense. It came from them creating some turnovers and putting their offense in a position where they could capitalize and kind of just take over control of this game.
And talk about Dimitri Rojas and, what he did today. Obviously, he had a huge game. We'll be talking to him shortly.
You look at what he did, and it was a matter of, you look at him and his stats with 5 touchdowns today, but we talked about their offensive line and what they were able to do to open up holes for him. He was not touched until about 3 yards down the field on almost every carry. That's a credit to that offensive line and the offensive coaching staff.
Well, a game where you get another victory, and it's a big victory at the same time. The opportunity for you to, really persevere. You're now 4-1, 4-2 overall. Allen drops to 2-3 and 2-4 overall. But that all said, the opportunity was there for either team, but it went to Stroudsburg, and they're in a good position now moving forward, and now Allen has a little uphill climb.
They do, and you take nothing away from Stroudsburg, but William Allen played to a point where they were in the past, like you said, they gave themselves an opportunity to win. With all the mistakes, turnovers, penalties, they put themselves in a position to win the game. They got the ball back with a chance to drive, to score, to win, but it was just the mistakes that they just weren't able to overcome. Coach Clay will get his group, they'll regroup, and they need to regroup because they still have the opportunity to make the playoffs, which is something new, or not new, something that Allen hasn't been able to do in a few years, as long as they get regrouped and they do what they have to do. But like you said, Stroudsburg's in a position where they can make some things happen as well.
Well, with that, let's go down to the field right now, and Peter Capote with our player of the game. Peter? we'll keep it up here while they're getting the microphone checked out down below. 41-21 is your final score. As again, our player of the game is indeed Dimitri Rojas. Rojas came in with 5 touchdowns and now has 5 more to make it 10. So Rojas comes up with a big interception, the big afternoon, completing out pretty impressively.
And as you said, the 5 touchdowns, he doubled that today, 422 yards. He had to have close to 200 yards again today, so putting it up to 600, if not more.
All right, with that, let's go down back to the field, and Peter.
Sports player of the game, Dimitri Rojas, who had 5 rushing touchdowns today against William Allen. Thoughts on the game?
It was kind of slow at the beginning, it was a close game somewhere in there. But, we came together as a team, we picked it up, we had a couple fumbles and an interception, but at the end of the day, we won 41-21.
Stroudsburg moves now to 4-2, and congratulations on your game.
Thank you, sir.
That's the studio.
All right, thanks a lot, Peter. And, Matt, your final thoughts on this one as, again, Stroudsburg gets to win. Your thoughts?
I think we came in, we were expecting a good game, and I think we saw that. Both defenses really did challenge each other. They challenged those offenses, but in the end, it was Stroudsburg's rushing attack and what they were able to do, capitalizing on mistakes, that really changed this game for them.
Well, that'll do it for Melissa Fatzinger down the field. Peter Kubota, 2 student reporters that we had here. Louis Galan, Bruce Badgley, and his team as well. Matt Evancho, I'm Al DiCarlo saying so long. Final score once again, 41-21. If you're watching us here live on a Saturday afternoon, back at it Saturday night with Central Catholic and Easton. Now we'll do it again as Stroudsburg gets the victory. So more football coming your way later today. Hope you enjoyed this one. Have a good afternoon.